Should be live right now. Yo, what up, Dash? I am trying to make sure I can see the chats this time because last time we had that issue. Yo, Kim, my man, wasn't expecting you. This is a impromptu live because the 2025 disability rates are now out. So I figured I might as well just jump on, try to make a video out of it, try to maximize the ability to use it, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm trying to do, but it's kind of difficult to try to get it so y'all can see everything on there. And that's what I'm trying to that's I guess better. Cuz basically what I'm doing is I'm working on the video that I do every year basically. So every year it's basically when the new rates come out, I basically make a video for the 2025, basically the year's disability rates from 0 to 100%. Then I also do the special monthly compensation ones, and then any other ones I'm trying to make videos for. So now that it's legit, um, that's when I make a video for it because I haven't seen anybody else do it, and I know somebody else will probably see me doing this and be like, "Oh, that's a great idea," and probably jump on it. Because everybody just really like talks about it and stuff like that. It's just gonna be a quick explanation of just this is what it is. These are the numbers. This is what you get, and that's it, really. People complain about 2.5. That's better than nothing. That's a whole $100 increase. So before. Yes, it is. It is 100. Like the thing I think that people like to complain about is that the cola rate is kind of it's interesting how they grade it because the thing is they're going off of the consumer price index for each quarter. The thing is just like with how inflation has hit and how prices have rised. I guess we did get those higher percentages, but it's just like the cost of living still went up and prices didn't go down. So to only get a 2.5% is pretty like it's kind of ridiculous. You would expect I was at least expecting or thinking maybe we should hit like 5%. And then the following year drop down because the economy is getting better, but I'd still think that just to make sure to catch up with it, we should have gotten a higher percentage this year. And then next year make sure it drops down. But the consumer price index says differently, and that's where we run into those issues where it's just like, oh, it dropped somehow. Where find it difficult to be that low, but you can't really I guess explain that. I guess is the best way of putting it. That's the sort of understand. Like they have that information, but then it's at times it's like, yo, how did y'all only get 2.5? Like, so you mean to tell me I got a whole $100, even though everything, the cost of living has gone up more than $100. So I think that's why one of the reasons a lot of people tend to complain when it comes to disability rates is like $100. Oh, just like $100 doesn't go as far as it used to anymore. So that's why it's like a 2.5 raise is kind of difficult to comprehend for people. So it's better than nothing. I do agree. I just think it should be better at a certain point. Because the thing I find interesting about tying it to cola is the thing is that the reason why we are doing this is because so it doesn't affect just add $100. No, I know, I understand what you mean, but the way you got to look at it also is like, look, the reason we're collecting this is because some are not able to fully get employed. So like let's say in the instance of TDIU, if you're unemployability because you have one rating at over 70 and something else over 40, and you're receiving 100% because you cannot work, meaning you can't work. And if you do work, the only thing you can work up to is the poverty line, which is like $15,000, which to me that's crazy. That 15,000, like who survives off of $15,000? That's wild. But that's the most you can make if it were because of you not being able to be employed. Now, if you're 100% PNT, it's different because you're able to be employed and you're able to work and you're able to earn as much as you want. But when you're TDIU, it's not that way. It's basically you're capped at $15,000. But I was watching some information on with some VA attorneys. I found another channel on here. I'm gonna see if I reach out to them, maybe try to see if I could get them like to do like an online, like a one-on-one question and answer with them. And that's what I'm saying for like TDIU, because the thing is this is happening because they cannot work. So because you cannot work, you running into this instance. And that's where you have that problem. Since you can't work, they can't make over $15,000. So basically you're saying that $100 extra a month is going to suffice them to cover for what they're going through. That's where I find it kind of crazy. Not to say that TDIU should be paid more than 100%, but at the same time, it's like that's the reason that it's just like just $100 for somebody that can't work. That's a big that's not a big thing. $100, that's like, hey, maybe you can get an extra tank of gas, maybe, depending on what gas prices are, and if you're driving a lot. But that's what I'm saying. It's different circumstances, so that's what makes it different with that. But that's the reason that sometimes I look at it like that. It's like, yes, it's good that you're getting that percentage, but at the same time, it's like, bro, we're not receiving enough in that manner to basically say, yes, this is what we should be doing. This is what needs to happen. So that's where it's just like, the concern is just like, okay, $100 is not crazy. Because look, it's not that much different from, like I said, like you said, it's only $100. $100 when times have been rough for the past couple of months, $100 is not sufficing. $100 is not sufficing, basically. But it's just like, you got to do what you got to do with it. But these other rates that are basically out, they are official. It is now a 2.5% raise that we are receiving. That is locked in. There's no proposed. There's no other channels trying to like instigate to say, oh, there's probably a 2 point something, a 2 point. No, it's 2.5. That's what we're at. That's what we're getting. Changes will come basically depending. I'm still waiting on the BAH rates, because that also changes. The special monthly compensation, most of the time I notice a lot of channels don't get on that rate as much, because the thing is it doesn't hit as many veterans on that, but it's still something good to know and good to find out. But yeah, basically this is, I'm working on basically the video, so that people have the video and people will be able to view it, where it'll have all the numbers. It'll have how much you're making, what you can get out of those once you hit those certain percentages, what you get, how much you get for each additional child, stuff like that, like how it's broken down here. Basically, like if you got a parent, stuff like that, that'll all be in the video, so that way people have access to it and they can just watch it, share it. And then I'll start making a couple more videos on each percentage. So like from 10 to 20%, what the benefits are that you get as a veteran from 10 to 20%. Then the same rates from 30 to 60%, 70 to 100%. Like, and I'll just divide it that way so that people understand, like, hey, once you get to this percentage, you get this. So 10% is just basically you get no cost healthcare, basically, because anything that's service connected, you do get something for. But then after that, it becomes a bit more, I wouldn't say tedious, but it's not as good. Hey, no problem, Carmen. But that's what it is. So is that way people know, because that's the one thing that people don't realize. Because the thing is some people just look at it as like, oh, I just receive this amount of money. And it's just like, no, you receive this amount of money, but there's also other benefits that come with it. Like a breakdown. Like when you're just service connected at 0%, you get a 10-point veteran preference in federal hiring. So that goes into your hiring preference. So you get a preference while being hired. You don't get no healthcare or prescription drugs cost for anything that's service connected, even at 0%. VA life insurance is guaranteed until age of 41. So you can get life insurance of $40,000. You can use the commissaries, the exchanges, the MWR, and you can use the exchange online. So if you have, like, let's say you go and remember, that's a tax-free advantage you get there. So if you're shopping and you need to buy something, and if it's on the exchange, you can purchase it and you're not paying taxes on it. So that's a benefit that a lot of veterans overlook, because it's like, hey, you need to go buy you want to buy a new TV, you can pay for it tax-free. You want to buy a new washing machine, dishwasher, stuff like that, tax-free. Those are incentives that people don't realize and forget when that's happening, that you can take advantage of. And that's saving money. That's money that's being saved in your pocket. Because if you're making one of those large purchases, those large purchases go a long way when it comes to taxes. And if you ain't got to pay no taxes on it, and most of the time then you'll get free shipping on top of it, that's a win-win in anybody's book. And then what else you got? So if you go to non-VA urgent care visits, it's $30 per visit. Emergency room visits, as long as you notify, like if you go to the emergency room at 0%, you have to just notify the VA so that the VA can look into it, and they may pay certain amounts of it if you go to the emergency room. You just have to contact them within 72 hours. And the phone number to that is the 844-724-7842. Just got to contact them within 42 hours. And you can get the VA dental insurance program. Basically, if you get enrolled into the VA healthcare, so that gives you that advantage. When you get to the 10 through 20% range, still got no healthcare cost, as long as you're enrolled in the VA. Prescription drugs for service-connected disabilities, you don't have to worry about. Small copays may be applied for inpatient stays, and prescription drugs must be enrolled in VA healthcare. So most of the time, people don't realize that even if you have an outside doctor and they prescribe you medication, if you refer that medication to the VA because it's something that you're dealing with service-connected wise, the VA can then prescribe it to you, and then you don't pay any out-of-cost money towards your prescription, because the VA is not going to cover it, because it's kind of like referring a prescription over, which a lot of people don't know about. That's when, and then also you get the waiver for the VA funding fee for the home loan. That's when it starts at that 10-20. So if you're at 0%, you don't get it. Once you get to the 10-20%, that's when you start with the VA funding fee. You start the Veteran Readiness and Employment Program. That one starts at 10%. And you already know there's like 4 tracks. I think it's 4 or 5 tracks. Whereas the long term to a business, a self-employed one, just a skill-based one like certification, and you use that, and that's a thing that you can keep on using to try to gain employment. And then you also get the burial and plot allowance. Basically, once you if you decide to pass and decide to want to be laid to rest in a national cemetery, you can do that also. Once you get to 30 and 40%, you got the travel allowance for scheduled appointments for care at VA medical facility or VA authorized healthcare facility. So basically at 30%, you can start getting reimbursed for your appointment. So let's say you are an hour and a half away from your VA facility. You will go to your appointment and come back. As long as you check in and you check out, you made it to your appointment, no problem. Then you can go, and it's the oh man, I started making a video on it. I forgot what it's called. It's like the defense, it's like the travel thing. What the hell is it called? Give me 1 second. Oh. It is the BTSSS system, which is the beneficiary travel self-service system. So within that system, that's where you would go and you would file your claim. So basically they pay you the same way, like if you went TDY and you had a rental car and they paid you and they reimbursed you for mileage. It's the same thing they do when you are going to your appointment. So if your appointment is, let's say, an hour away, like 40 something miles, almost like 50 something miles, you might get think it comes out to like 20 something dollars one way VA form. Yes, if it's a lot easier, Carmen, if you do it online. So if you do it online, it's 10 times easier. Because the thing is it will populate the appointments you have gone to. So as long as it's an appointment that is through the VA, even if it's an appointment that's not in the system, you can create it and you can put the facility. It'll go from where you're originating from, where you came from, your home, to the location and back, and it'll give you the round trip and it'll give you the mileage. and there you go. You just put the mileage. After that, you can add food expenses. Let's say it had to be like an overnight stay or something. You can put hotel expenses, stuff like that, and you can add it on there. The form is easy because I know all the VA facilities like to do that, and they had that form like at the thing. And I was just like, look, this is something that I don't trust because I didn't trust paperwork in the military while I was serving. I'm not going to trust paperwork outside the military when it's just like I'm handing it to somebody or you got to mail it in. In fact, nah, let me do it online because then it's like it shows everything. So every appointment that shows up will be on the bottom half, and then you can claim. You could it'll just hit create. It'll create it for you, and then it'll do it that way. So it makes it 10 times easier to go through it that way if you go through the system and then you just get reimbursed. Sometimes it takes some time depending on what it is. Claim that you lost your... I think that would be something easy to tell. You would probably have paperwork for that, Fried. I don't think you would end up losing. You're not gonna lose that and not have that documented. If that happened and you didn't get it documented, there's something wrong. But in those cases, when it comes to that travel voucher, is easier to do online. Yes, you could do the form, which Carmen just stated, VA form 10-3542, but it's easier if you go through the BTSSS system. All you got to do is Google BTSSS or VA travel pay, and it'll pop up. You click on there. You just have to make sure to have a... I'm gonna make a video on that too. That was the next video I was gonna make because I didn't do my shorts. The short this week I did not publish it on Wednesday like I usually do every Wednesday, because I'm working on that. And then this came up and I was just like, I might as well go online, chat to people, and see how people feel about this, about these changes and getting a 2.5 raise. I'm gonna just keep scrolling up and down between these, so I can't fit them all in the same page at the same time. But that way y'all can see it. But it's basically an easy way to file your stuff. If you file it that way, it's 10 times easier to file your documentation because the BTSS provides you your appointments, shows you where they're at, where you went to, and then if you have to, you can add it. We ain't like, I'm always gonna say it should be higher, Carmen, but I'm not going to complain because we always get a raise every year. The thing is I think that they need to do something differently when it comes to, instead of it being like I think it should be at a minimum like a 4% raise every year. That's what I think it should be. Minimum 4% raise. If inflation, cost of living goes up higher than that, then we get it higher. But at a minimum, it should be 4% per year because that's basically what pay raises are supposed to be, are basically like a 4% raise. So if people are getting a 4% raise while they're working, we should be able to get a 4% raise to keep up with how people are working to do that. Because if the people that are employed and working are getting a 4% raise, then that should say that, hey, you're doing better with that 4%. We should be able to get that also. It shouldn't be off of the cost of living index, because the thing is the cost of living for everybody is not the same, and that's why I've always had a problem. That's why I've always had a problem with the cost of living index, or the consumer price index, because the thing is, and then the cost of living is not the same for everybody. Now, if everybody lived in the same cost of living and everything was fine, then I got no problem with it. The problem is just like the cost of living for somebody that lives in New York City or in New York is not the same as something like in Wyoming. It's not the same as in Florida. It's not the same as in Texas. Or just like some states have no state taxes, so that's extra money they earning anyway. But the cost of living doesn't adjust for that. So basically, you're telling me that across the board, $100 is helping everybody out, and I don't think that makes sense. You should at least make it a minimum 4% every year. See, see, that's what I'm saying. So in Texas, that $100 will go farther for you than it would somebody that does pay taxes. You see what I'm saying? So that little slight difference right there is where I think they need to. That's where I think like we need to start getting together as veterans and putting something together for policy, like whether it's to go through the VFW. Shit, I'm getting my public administration's degree. That's what I'm be working on is trying to write policies. And it's going to be something of the sort, because basically right now, as veterans, we are basically, as veterans right now, we are earning that. I have no problem with getting a raise, but I think there should be a minimum set every year, not to deal with the consumer price index or whatever the case. Every year, veterans should get a minimum of this. The same way with active duty service members. We should get a 4% every year, no matter what. If it's higher, by all means. But if it's not, the lowest it goes is 4%. And that way that's continuous and can just and go. That's I'm gonna start. I'm gonna write a policy for it. I'm gonna end up writing a policy for it, because the thing is it doesn't. It's a hindrance to so many veterans because of the fact that not everybody has the same cost of living. If you live in one of these major cities, I was just like, what can you do? What a lot of people be like, well, you should move. I was like, bro, if I was born and raised, I'm from New York City. I was born and raised in New York City. If that's my home of record and that's where I want to go back to home and live, it was just like, what do you want me to do? Move away from everything I know, which I did anyway, but that's another story. But because what? Because the cost of living is too high for me, but the VA ain't changing it for me. That's the problem. I was just like, if you keep it at a certain percentage, then it's just like, hey, every year veterans will know you will receive minimum 4%. That's it. It's not asking for a lot. Is asking for 4%. We got 2.5. It would have been another. Yeah, and that's the thing. Is just like with veterans, they don't. That's why I don't agree with it, because it doesn't take into account where veterans are located, where veterans live. It's just basically across the country. Across the country, you can pick 5 different cities, and the cost of living for those 5 different cities is different. The same way when you get BAH rates. They're different in different locations for a reason, because they know the cost of living is higher. So you mean to tell me the cost of living and the consumer price index in those locations didn't factor in? Because that's where I wonder, is just like, where do they get this consumer price index? Because the thing is if you're taking the numbers from across the nation, them numbers ain't adding up. Something, the math ain't mathing for me for some reason. Because if you take the price of something in Texas, let's say, compare it to the price of something in New York City, and then go to a lower populated like Montana or something like that. You mean to tell me that the prices are going to be the same? No, it's not possible. It's just not possible. That makes absolutely no sense to me. That's how they calculated it, like across the board. I was like, so across the board, y'all took the average of everything, and y'all mean to tell me that y'all came up with 2.5? 2.5 across the nation, 2.5. With all the inflation that's been going on, y'all came up with 2.5? It ain't adding up to me. I'm sorry. It just don't make no sense to me. That shit ain't making no sense, but that's just me. Maybe I don't know how to calculate it, or maybe they don't want me to learn how to calculate it, but it doesn't make any sense to have it to that point where it's just like you are basically. And that's what I'm saying. The cost of everything has gone up. And you mean to tell me $100 is going to do it? That's what I'm saying. You like the $100 is not going to get you far. Like that's what like. But like I said, that depends on where you're living. But the rate isn't explained. The rate isn't being put out there. Because look at what you just said. That's $16 right there. That's $16, and that's just eggs, bread, and milk. Most of the time, you want to get some sandwich meat or something, some cheese, or some bacon, or what else do we like to get usually? It was just like you add that shit up. It was just like, oh, there's your 2.5 raise. I was like, now you might be able to do something else with it. You might be able to get that second loaf of bread. Like, what is my kid doing up there? But it's just like, that's what you got to look at it. It's just like, Well, that's not even getting into meat. That's not even getting into the price of meat either. So if you just put like a grocery list right now together, you will not be making what you thought you would be making just off of a grocery list. Just do your the life. Hey, you might pay for a couple of days, Carmen. That sound good to you? It's just like you might get a couple of days of light. And that's why I was like, it depends on where people live. And that's why I think we need to find a way as veterans. Everybody need to come together. It's like, look, it it's funny how veterans can get mad at the fact that it's just like, hey man, the VA sucks. Why aren't we getting together about it? Oh, but that's what I'm saying. Like I said, you might be able to get another gas tank with that $100. But at the same time, the crazy thing is about it is that we are getting a 2.5 raise right now. In the next couple of months, if inflation goes back up again, that 2.5% is not going to do anything. So that's why it's just like, yeah, I went because the economy was great. It's gone down. It's going back up again. But it's just like, since in the memoir I was given mental meds that caused that fall for. You gonna get that dash. You gonna get that regardless, because they already know that once you get those meds, it goes. They don't even you can't prove it. They don't test for it. That's something you're gonna get, and that would be SMCK, I believe, and I believe that's like $135. I think with the increase it'll be per month that you get extra. So you're gonna get what your 100% disability. Then you're gonna get if you got kids, dependents, that on top, like basically how it is, how it's broken down here. Veteran with spouse, child. Um, so a veteran with spouse and child, you'd be getting 4,201. If you got more than one kid, you add another 106. And then if you have the SMC for it, you would get an extra, I believe it's like 135 is going up to this coming year. I haven't seen that yet because that's the thing. It's just like they announce it, but the VA does not. The VA.gov doesn't make sure to push all that info out to see, because some of them are based off of the COLA and some of them are not. Like the BAH. The BAH may change, because the thing is, you got to remember the BAH goes up, but it fluctuates because it's cost of living in that location, and that's when it goes to your GI Bill, because you get paid at the sergeant with dependence rate for the GI Bill in the location of your school. So that'll change also. So all those little things change. Whereas like if everybody's getting everything, then yeah, it makes sense. 2.5 isn't bad, but not everybody's going to school, so that's not happening. Not everybody is not everybody lives in a low cost of living place. So that goes into that, and that's where these numbers is just like, yeah, I'm happy. I'm gonna get a bump on and pay, but oh yeah, I know inflation is real, but 2.5 ain't. 2.5 is real also, Benny. Um, but that's what I said. Like with ED dash, it's just like people are claiming that after service probably because they started getting medication, and then because of depression and all that mental anxiety and all that stuff that causes that. But you can file for that within. If you were taking pills and all that stuff while you were in service, it's easy to claim it because it's already proven that it happens. So it's just like that's something that people sometimes fail to realize that they can claim. And some people are just like, a lot of dudes will just be like, look, I ain't claiming that shit. I'm not gonna put I got issues down there. I was just like, okay then. That's on you. Go get you some free pills. It ain't gonna hurt you. It ain't gonna hurt you. That's all I'll say. Um but yeah, that's what it comes down to. But that's how I'm just making this video to try to do it this way. Um on the regular stream, I have the video up. Well, not up, but I have the layout of what it is I'm working on. But oh, there's no need to thank me. This is just what I like to do. It's just helping veterans, show them what they're doing, and explain the stuff so that way they're aware of what's going on. Because Some people are gonna know, they're gonna hear the 2.5, but then, like I said, there's benefits that go to it. Shit, I ain't even finished explaining the benefits because we got off track because we were at what 30 or 40% with the BTSSS. I always forget the last S with that. Just basically doing so. Since it's service connected, I'll get pills. Cool. Yeah, if you, as long as you go to your VA provider and you tell them like, hey, you're dealing with ED and you would like to receive pills for it, you get free pills. Um, let's see. So where was I? I was at the 30 and 40%. So you get, and then you get the compensation for dependents at that point. From 50 to 90%, you still get no health care cost, no prescription medications. Um, you get concurrent receipt of military retired pay with 20 years. So if you are at the 20-year mark and you are above 50, that's when you get the concurrent military retired pay with no issues. Um, At 50 through 90, you get 3 no-cost VA urgent care visits. So basically, if you go to urgent care, you get 3 of those that basically they take care of. Is this live? Yes, this is live. Said, is this live? Why wouldn't it be live? Does it look pre-recorded? Is that what it is? Does it look pre-recorded? He said, is this live? But yeah. Where was I? What else would I say? So that's through 50 through 90%. Then when you get to 100%, you get no dental cost. No dental cost at the VA, so you basically go to the dental for free. You get your DOD Uniform Service ID card, which is basically just the DOD card. Your veteran card works just fine. It's just a different ID card. Same shit. Still get to go on post. You still have to register and stuff like that, so it doesn't change. At 100%, you get the federal loan, your federal student loan forgiveness, which is one that a lot of people don't realize. And there's a little trick that I will just hand out to people in case you have, if you have a service member or one of your kids. Hey, no problem, Benny. And then this is basically, whatchamacallit, with the federal loan, with a student loan forgiveness. So basically, once you hit 100% PNT, basically you can have all your loans. So like if you have school loans, they'll be forgiven. They'll be wiped out because of your time of service, because you're 100% permanent in total. One thing that you can do for it is that you can decide to continue to go to school. Because the thing is you can only have your loans forgiven one time. So let's say you get out the military, you get your 100% PNT, and you had school loans already. You can decide to go to school again and take out the loans as long as they're federal school. I think it's like federal Stafford loans or something like that. Federal loans, basically. School loans, you take those out. You can go to school, graduate in 4 years, and then have them wiped out. And then use your GI Bill to get your master's or your PhD. I think they pay for the PhD. I think it pays for the PhD. I'm not sure. It's still schooling, so I have to check. But you can do it that way. Yeah, see, I just caught somebody else. Somebody else that didn't realize that. There's tricks to the trade, and that's why I'm here to educate people for it. It's tricks to the trade when it comes to that. It's just like most people do not know they can do that. If you are enrolled in school, if you have school loans already because you were going to school already, at 100% PNT, you have them forgiven. But you got to remember, it's a one-time, it's like basically like a one-time gift that the military, like, look, you disabled now, we will forgive your loans. So if you decide you can defer the loan forgiveness, so basically you can go back to school, get a degree in whatever it is you want, have the loans out on it. You're probably going to have to pay for like books and stuff like that to finish school. Go ahead, finish school. And then from there, once everything is done with, you got your second degree or you completed school, now you can use that loan deferment or that loan forgiveness. So basically, if you only did 2 years while you were in service, got out, decided to do the next 2 years, you use loans to take it, finish those 2 years, you get your bachelor's degree. Get those loans forgiven. Now you use your GI Bill. Use your GI Bill for the remaining to get your master's degree, which is only 2 years, which you can use for 2 years, and then you still have a year left over. Or you use the VRE. You use the Veterans Readiness and Employment Program, which will most likely, if it is for employment, will do the same thing as the GI Bill, but will not take away from your GI Bill. And you can go to school, get employment from there. See, I'm learning as I go, Carmen. I'm learning as I go. And this is stuff that I learned from like other people and just like looking stuff up. And then it's just like you can use the VRE program and you can get a degree through there because it is for employment. Now you still have your GI Bill. So you can use, basically, you went to school, you take out loans, finish your school, have your loans forgiven, use the VRE program to basically to get a education for basically to help you get enrolled or for employment. Use that and they'll pay up for the 4 years or whatever it is to get you that employment. Then from there you still have your GI Bill after that. And then there's certain cases where if you use your GI Bill, as long as you use it and you have at least 1 day and you talk to the VRE, there may be a chance that you can be reimbursed for all of your GI Bill because you should have been using the VRE program instead. There's slight chances. That one I'm not too sure about exactly how it works, but I've known that there are chances of a person being able to basically go to school, realize that they should have been using the VRE, the Veterans Readiness and Employment Program, and then their GI Bill basically gets replenished because it's like you should have never used it in the first place. You should have been using this program to help you. So, as I spoke to my counselor about this the other day, and see, and it's just it's like those little tricks because you got to think about it. The only thing that the only reason that most people don't go about that is because if you are taking out school loans and stuff like that, you don't get BAH. So that's where it might be a drawback. If you ain't getting the BAH for the school, that may be a drawback. So you might want to just use your GI Bill, or you want to use your the VRE. So that's why I can see people hesitating, because the thing is school is pricey, and if you're paying for school but you're taking out loans for it, you still need a place to live, because that's a benefit of the GI Bill where you receive your BAH on top of that. So you're getting your disability and you're getting your BAH. With the VRE, I'm not too sure. I have to check to see. I don't think you might get housing. I'm not too sure though. I have to check. I can't remember off the top of my head. But then also at 100%, you get the Chapter 35 benefits, which is your dependents education assistance. So basically, if your child is in a college institution, or your wife is in a college institution, or it could be anything, I believe it could be accredited. I'm not sure if it can be for, I have to check to see if it's just like a vocational stuff. I don't know if it's just for a degree, but they will receive a monthly stipend, which I believe went up to $1,536 for this upcoming year. That if they are full-time, they will receive $1,536 per month while they're enrolled, tax-free, because you are 100% permanent total. But you have to go through the process through your school of it being in an accredited school, go through the process, sign up through it, and then receive payment that way. So if that's the case, Carmen, since I'm guessing you're 100% permanent total. Yes, Benny, I have one that is for mobile, because it seems to reach more people when I have it on mobile, and then I have the regular like full screen one where it's just like you'd be able to see more of my screen. The phone one is just basically, for some reason, YouTube pushes out the phone live more than it does the other one. Does getting your tongue chopped off fit in the 100% category? I do not believe it does. You may get special monthly compensation for it, but I'm not sure what that falls under. I've never seen that instance. There's nothing specific in the special monthly compensation for that. It could be loss of I wouldn't say it would be a limb, but see, like that's the difference. So on the live, on the vertical one is just me on the bottom and whatever I'm highlighting and showing, and then with the wide screen is just like the big screen, my picture, and then the screen of basically the video, which I haven't even touched while we've been talking. But um, so it gives I give people the ability to have both views. Can sleep apnea be secondary to tinnitus? Tinnitus is one of the ones that you can service connect to a lot of things. The thing is that you have to make that link. So if you're getting that diagnosis of sleep apnea, you have to have that medical provider connecting it. I'm not entirely sure how good you can connect it, but hey, if you have a medical provider that can diagnose you with sleep apnea and say that the sleep apnea is connected or is being caused due to the tinnitus, there it goes. Because tinnitus goes into a lot. Tinnitus goes into I believe it does get connected to sleep apnea. It gets connected to like mental health issues where it causes insomnia because people can't sleep. It causes migraines. Um, a Meniere's disease, I think, is when like the ear starts fluttering and stuff like that. Definitely something. So tinnitus is one of those that is just like that's why the VA is talking about trying to like separate it and make it not a claim because of the fact that they know a lot of people use it as secondary to a lot of things. So the VA is trying to eliminate a lot of those secondary things. If what is being put out from Project 2025, which here or there. It's just basically those are things that they're mentioning that they're trying to remove. So that's why it's important for veterans to keep that in mind when it comes to voting. Um, Vote however you want to, but at the same time, pay attention to what's happening to your benefits with whoever you're voting for. Because that's what I think a lot of veterans are not paying attention to. You have your political affiliations, cool. But pay attention to what's happening to your veteran benefits with your political affiliation. Are they making it better or they're making it worse? And that's what a lot of people keep doing. And I've gotten into it with a lot of veterans. And it's just like the whole point is to educate y'all and try to enlighten y'all on the stuff. You have to see what one side is proposing and you have to see what the other side is proposing. And that's the thing. It's like a lot of veterans are not pushing policies. It's just like, oh, we're okay with somebody else deciding what happens with us when we're the ones that are dealing with the issues. Like I said, a 4% minimum of COLA increase each year should be something that's in there. But like I said, there's a lot of bickering that happens between veterans that a lot of veterans don't agree. Like, look, political affiliations aside, I want every veteran to be okay. I want every veteran to succeed. I want every veteran to be able to get 200% P&T, to be able to take care of themselves and their family's future. I don't care who you vote for, but at the same time, if you're not paying attention to what these sides are doing, because both of them will do this and do that, but if it's not benefiting us as veterans, that means you suffer. If your kid decides to join, they suffer, and anybody along the line, past, present, or future, still a veteran, still has to deal with the ramifications of these changes that are being inputted. So that's why it's important that we start educating all veterans on the instances and the things that are going on. And that's one thing that I don't see a lot of vets doing. It's a lot of bickering, a lot of they get upset because of one certain thing, like one certain topic. It was just like one topic that I always see always goes crazy is like the Second Amendment rights, where look, weapons ain't going to be taken away. But at the same time, secondaries will be taken away. And people will just be like, well, what are you talking about? I was just like, well, if you look into Project 2025, I'm just telling y'all to just look into it. Look into Project 2025 and look at what they're planning to do to veteran affairs. So if your spouse is disabled, you can receive. That's what I was looking at. I saw this here, Carmen, and I have no idea what the fuck this is. I've never seen that before. That's the first time I see this. This right here, that's the first time I see that. I have never seen that before. So I'm not sure what that is. And this is through military.com because, the VA ain't going to put it on their website probably till December 1st. Because, that's how the VA wants to roll. But I saw this and I was questioning it because I was just like, it's not aid in attendance, because aid in attendance is what you get. This is the one I'm used to seeing, but that's usually at the 70% mark. This one for having an additional for a disabled spouse, I've never seen this before, and I have to look into it because I find it interesting. Because it's additional for disabled spouse, but it's only from 30 to 60. Then after that, it's AA for aid in attendance. And you don't see that. You don't even see that here with the dependents and parents or anything of the sort. So that's why I was just like, I'm trying to figure out what that is, because I've never heard of it. If anybody knows, if any of the vets that are here watching right now, if y'all receive this or know about this, please enlighten me or tell me where I can find information on it. Because this is something I have never seen before, where it says additional for disabled spouse. Because I've never seen that the disabled spouse has received any payment. It's usually aid in attendance that gets paid out, depending on. That's why, Carmen, I don't know what to tell you on this one. That's one thing I do not know what to tell you, because that's the first time I've seen that. Because the thing is it falls off for everything else, and that's where I don't understand it. Because it just says additional for disabled spouse, but it only goes up to 60%. Because it doesn't have it for anything else. It doesn't have it on anything else. And that's why I find it interesting, because it only goes from 30 to 60% that you receive additional for disabled spouse. But then there's no additional once you get to 70, 80, 90. So I'm not entirely sure what that is. I'll look into it. I'll make sure to look into that so I can get that out there, because it's there, but this is the first time I see that, because even on the VA site, when you go to va.gov, it never shows you that before. So unless this is something that's being implemented going forward, maybe, I don't know. But this is something I have never seen before. So that makes it interesting. Additional for disabled spouse. Never seen that before. So that's something to keep in mind and keep an eye on for y'all. Because if you do, like in your case, you just said your spouse is recently disabled, you would receive that. But that's what I'm saying. If you're already 100%, it's not there. So that's why I'm like, oh, don't get some pizza. That's it. Hey, it would be 100, but that's the thing. That's why I find it weird, because it falls off. So it falls off when it comes to this here. It falls off at 60%. So at 70%, it just becomes additional for AA for aid in attendance, which is the same for all three of these. But then the thing is aid in attendance isn't here. Which, hold on, in my old video, I had that. Yeah, in my old video, all it had was the additional child under 18, whatever it was, then additional over 18 and qualifying school program, and then receiving aid in attendance. And that's something people need to keep in mind, that is that you have to make sure that the VA is also tracking the fact that your kid is enrolled in a school. Because if you're 100% PNT, you are getting your DEA benefits, which gives them that monthly $1,500 a month. So they get a check of $1,500 a month, which they can do whatever they want with it. $1,500 a month. It can help pay for books. Because remember, it doesn't pay for the school. So the school is not paid for, but $1,500 a month can help pay off school. So that's an extra benefit. But then also you will be receiving extra pay because your kid is over 18. So the difference of basically because remember, once they're over 18, they're not receiving any more benefits. But if they're enrolled in school, they're receiving a benefit. And that's a drastic change that you made $100, $106. Let's say you 100%. You made $106. They hit 18 and now they're out of school and now you're making an extra $236 off of it. $236.71 extra. So an extra $200 goes a long way. There you might be able to go a bit farther to get your cheaper grocery list. You might be able to hit Sam's Club or Costco now. You might be able to, but no assurances on that. But yeah, that's the main thing. So I'm not sure. I'll look into that more to see what that is. But as of right now, I have no idea what that spouse disabled thing is. I've never seen it before. But otherwise, it's just like I said, it's just us as veterans coming together and figuring stuff out so that we can put that together. Like I said, a 4% minimum raise should be easy. All right, what else did I mention with 100%? Oh shit, another thing with 100%, ChampVA. If you don't have, you can use ChampVA. If you don't have insurance, you can use ChampVA as a primary, and it'll pay a certain amount up to your deductible amount if it is your primary and you don't have anything else. If you have a primary and you use it as your secondary, it covers damn near everything. Damn near everything. There are a couple of exceptions. I think like chiropractic work is not in there. There's a couple of other things, but like once you go, the ChampVA process is a long process. So if once you get 100% P&T, get all your documentation together and submit for ChampVA, because it takes a couple of months. They say it depends. You have to stay on top of it. By 6 months out, you might be able to know everything. But at the same time, at that 6-month mark, if you decide to wait to 6 months and then they figure it out, oh shit, you were missing this document. They did that shit to me. So I submitted it and then I was just like, yo, it's been like 2 months. Let me check in with these people. They checked in. It was just like, oh, we received this. Oh, we were missing this document that we haven't gotten from you. I was like, so y'all wasn't planning to tell me? Well, like, how was I supposed to know? And it was just like, because everything is like snail mail through them. It's just like, because the only way to submit it is through fax or mail. I was like, bro, we got the internet these days. You telling me I can't PDF scan this thing and just email it to y'all or something like that, or upload it to a certain thing? That's why ChampVA needs to like get with the times. But I've seen that they are working on implementing it to make it a bit more modernized. So it's not like gotta mail everything or fax. Like how many times, where do we find fax machines, y'all? I had to literally download the shit on my phone to be able to fax. But who faxes stuff? Chris, if you're 100% PNT, it's basically the same thing. Because the thing is you're not using ChampVA. Your family is using ChampVA. Because the VA healthcare is taking care of you. The VA healthcare is taking care of you. The ChampVA is basically taking care of your dependents. That's what you need to realize. But yes, you are using both of them, but it's taking care of your family. Because VA healthcare is strictly for the veteran service member. ChampVA is basically your dependent's healthcare assistance. It's like basically you're 100% PNT. We know that you may not be able to work or whatever the case may be. Well, no, because with TDIU it doesn't work. Carmen, what do you mean with will this affect TDIU? And what specifically? Because that's the thing. Is just like your dependent's healthcare is through ChampVA. The VA healthcare is through you, because your spouse cannot use the VA healthcare to get seen. You can only do that. But through ChampVA, as long as let's say you have a doctor that you've been going to, your family's been going to that doctor. If that doctor now accepts ChampVA and you already had a primary insurance, you can use your primary insurance and add ChampVA as a secondary insurance. So basically what's going to happen is, to any cost that you go through, they're going to submit it through them first. So let's say you would always get a bill after you went to your kids or your family went to the doctor or whatever the case may be. Now it may be you may not get a bill because your primary insurance covered whatever it did, and then ChampVA covered the rest. So then it's almost, I wouldn't say free healthcare, but kind of like free healthcare for your dependents in certain aspects because of the things that get covered. But they do specify, and they do send you a book. I have it lying around here somewhere, where it specifies basically everything that is covered by ChampVA, and it gives you the explanation as, hey, is ChampVA your primary insurance? This is how it gets covered. If ChampVA is your secondary insurance, this is what'll be covered. So that's the one thing about ChampVA that I do like, that the booklet that they submit with you once you are 100, once you're accepted and everything is good for your dependents, they send you that booklet, and that booklet will go line by line everything that is covered. Whether it's, like I said, I know chiropractic work is one of the things that does not get covered by ChampVA. So that would be something you would get pay out of pocket for your dependents. But if you need chiropractic work, all you need to go through your VA provider. If you've had back issues, you go to your VA provider and be like, look, I would like to be referred to a chiropractor. Most of the time, they're going to try to refer you to a chiropractor within the VA, in the VA facility. But if that thing is like stretched out for months on months on months, like it was for me, they'll just be like, hey, we'll let you go into your community, and somebody that's in the VA network will file through them. And most of the time they'll just call you and be like, hey, I got these 2 different locations or these 3 different locations that are VA network providers that you can use for chiropractic work or whatever it is. You pick one and go to it. If you don't like that one, you can leave that one. You can call back and be like, look, I didn't like that chiropractic. What other options do I have within my community? Oh, you can go to this place. Okay, let me go to that one. Set it up and you just go and you do it that way. So that's the one thing that veterans also need to realize. You have the capability of switching who you are seeing. It is not you are seeing this person and that's it. I tried the community care for my chiropractor and the VA paid for 12 visits. That's what I'm saying. You ain't have to pay for it. You should always get that notification and that bill saying that, oh, you went and this is how much is covered or whatever the case. You usually get that. I think it's like Optimum or something like that submits that paperwork. And that's something that's beneficial to you. My background was for Battlefield. Yes. And the thing is you just have to request it. The thing is like, hey, if it's something that's service connected, you're already service connected for it. They're not going to question it. It's just like, hey, I heard I can try to do this. I heard this is a new thing. Because the thing is at the end of the day, the VA wants to get you better. They want you better. They don't want you at 100%. But for some, they know that your stuff is static, meaning that they know it's not going to get better. It's not going to improve over time. So that's why most people get that 100% P&T. It's because they know, like, look, down the road, this dude is going to get worse. He has issues now, but those issues can't be remedied. Like when it comes to like degenerative disc disease, you can't regrow cartilage or like cartilage in your knee and stuff like that. The shit don't grow back. The VA knows it's not going to grow back. They know they can give you those steroid shots. They can give you all them shots, give you all that stuff. Your knee ain't going to grow back. The VA will pay for massage therapy. You have to ask them for it. And then the thing is depending on where it's located. Because the thing is that's where it becomes kind of difficult, because it's finding somebody in your area that is working with the VA to get the massage therapy. Like in my case, I asked for the massage therapy. I wanted to do that. The only person that they had that was in network was almost 2 hours away from me. And I was like, bro, I'm going to really need the massage that bad if you're going to have me 2 hours driving anywhere to get this shit done. And then by the time I make it back home, I'm going to be just as much pain as I was getting over there for this damn therapy. So I was just like, nah, I'd rather not do it because I'm not driving 2 hours to do it. Would I get reimbursed with the BTSS thing, the travel reimbursement? Yeah, for 2 hours. So that would probably be like a. See, look, you drive an hour. Imagine driving 2 hours to get therapy, to then feel good, to then drive 2 hours back and be in the same. So I was just like, nah, I'll just do chiropractic. I'll look into it again. Cause the thing is that was cause the VA facility I go to, they were booked out for shit. Who knows how long. So there was just like, hey, you can go in the community, but community for you is 2 hours away. And I was just like, that's not community. That's a travel. That's a trip. That I would have to plan something like that if I'm gonna do 2 damn hours. That's a 4 hours in a day just in the car sitting. I was just like, how about a workers' comp back injury? What do you mean the rebel workers' comp back injury? Like, was it service connected? Was it caused by the military, or was this something that like you just happened to go through at work? So yes, feel good for 2 to 5 hours and then come back once I lay down. Yeah, that's why I was just like, don't want to do it. No, I was just like, I could do this because I'm medicated now, but I can't do it while I'm driving. So you see what I'm saying? So it makes that situation makes it difficult. It makes it hard there to like, okay, what can I do? What can I not do? And it's just like most of the thing. That's what people need to realize. The VA has a bunch of these things that are available to you. You just gotta ask. Like literally go to your VA provider. If you have any injury, anything that is service connected, if you hear about any kind of treatment or something like that, because my job, if it was caused by your job and it's not service connected to Rebel, you would not be able to get because the thing is it's not service connected. So they won't really treat it for it unless you connect it to something else. But if it's an injury that happened because of work and not military related or not service related, they're not going to try to cover that for you completely. Now, if it's tied into something like it's gotten worse because of that, or that's where it's kind of difficult. Because if you've been doing it for work for 14 years and it wasn't service connected, they don't really cover anything that's not service connected. Now, if you're 100% P&T, you're in the VA healthcare, I think they do assist you in that manner. But that's where it's just like, because of the fact that it's not service connected, I'm not too sure there. Yeah. And that's what it is. You have to ask. Because the thing is that's the one thing that a lot of veterans don't understand. The Rebel, if you go just ask your provider. It was like, look, you've had this and it's been bothering you and you want to see if you can get assistance with it. If you're 100% P&T, most chances are they will help you with it. If you're not 100% P&T and it's not service connected, different story. But the VA has a lot of stuff that you can use. Like I said, if you hear of any treatment that is just like most people don't know acupuncture. You get acupuncture done. You can get massage therapy. You could get aquatic therapy if there's a pool or a place that can service to do that. The thing is that most of the time, the VA doesn't have those facilities, or your community does not have those facilities and is working with the VA. That's where the problem lies when it comes to getting assistance with the VA, is that not every resource for any type of assistance is always available in your community. Sometimes it's available at the VA, but hey, look, if everybody wants to do aquatic therapy, like jump in the pool and work on their stuff, there has to be a pool available. Now, if your VA facility has that pool, you got to keep in mind that then that means all those other vets know they got a pool and they can do that. They're going to sign up for it too. So your appointment may be out for a long time. And then when they tell you, hey, you can do this on the community, you got to find somebody that got a pool to do it. See, and that's the thing, Carmen. That's what people don't realize. That's why it's difficult. And that's why I say people be like, "Oh, the VA makes you wait so long and stuff like that." Yes, the VA does make you wait long. There's no lie to that. The problem is we got to start thinking it's just like some of the resources are not available. It's just like you got to remember it's maybe like one person that does this, or maybe you got 4 people that work at the pool. How many veterans don't have back problems? Damn near every one of us. So imagine every one of us trying to work with 4 people. They only work Monday through Friday. They get holidays off. Yeah. No, Carmen, you do. That's what I'm saying. You do get to go out in the community. But the thing is the community has to have that. Like I said, in my case, the massage therapy for me was 2 hours away. That's the closest my community was able to do it. And the funny thing is that the person that does my chiropractic work has massage therapy, but they're not tied into the VA with that. And I just found I was just like, hold on, what? I was like, so yeah, in contract to work under the VA for chiropractic work, but not your massage therapy. Even though you have and you can provide massage therapy, I can't use you for that because you're not in the network for the VA for that. You're in the network for chiropractic work. And I was just like, that is fucking insane. But that's how the VA works. They hand out their contracts where they hand out their contracts. And that's what people need to realize, that it's just like some resources are not available. Shit, I had to go get seen for the fucking foot doctor. And what did my VA tell me? I was just like, we would make you an appointment here, but the dude we had retired. We haven't gotten anybody else. So we just gonna send you to the community. I was like, okay. Well, yeah, that's in those cases. Yeah, you if you have that other insurance, you do it. But it's just like, yeah, podiatrist. There we go. I was like, the podiatrist at my VA retired. They don't have a new one yet. So they just been like, all right, you gonna go to get seen somewhere else. I'm getting my damn I got my inserts made, or they're being made, or whatever the case, whatever he said. But those are the things that people don't, that's stuff people don't really realize. Although that's the thing. Those things are very specific in that nature. Yeah, and that's the thing, Carmen. The thing is like we have to make sure. That's why I do these lives. That's why I try to do these, because it's just like to educate veterans, to let them know like there's a lot of shit out there for us. We gotta find it. We gotta look for it. Most of the time, us as veterans don't know where the hell to look, don't know what to look for, don't even know if it exists. So most of the time we don't even ask. Like I said, for back issues, if you want to go get massage therapy, shit, look at that. I ain't even know you could do that. That is calming as hell. I do that in my backyard. I have a little garden. It does help relax. I ain't even know they had that. And that's what you got to do. And that's why it's like veterans need to start communicating more instead of like with disagreements. See, that's what it is. You get all that stuff. You can get so much stuff that is available to you. The thing is that most veterans don't ask. Shit. Think about it like this. I always tell people, because I always look at the numbers. There's 19 million veterans that are alive right now. 19 million. Only 6 million actually have a disability file or have filed a claim. Out of 19 million, only 6 million, closing in, it's like 6.7 or something like that. But it's almost like 7 million vets use the system. Yeah, it's 19 million of us. And that's what people don't understand. I was just like, you can look it up. It's on, where's the site? Hold on. Let me find that for you. I'll show you the link that shows it. VA. I'm gonna pull it up. No, this is the. Where is that? Because there's one that I saw that I show the whole thing, And this is off of like 20. It comes off of the 2020 because they did it off the census. So the numbers have changed because veterans have increased because a lot of people have retired now also. So that's something to keep in mind. Is it the National Center for Analytics? Yes, it should be. This report. Profile deep dive. This is all older ones. Hold on. Where the hell is this? Oh, well, because I know there's the VA, there's the PACT Act one that shows the dashboard. And that one shows it that way. I don't know if this one shows all the number. It shows how many people have done the VA PACT one, the PACT Act one. Let's see, does this show? Hold on, I'll put this here so y'all can see it. And this is Department of VA.gov PACT Act data. So this is like an interactive sheet that they have that basically will show you all the numbers and stuff that's going on. Let me see. No, that one doesn't have it. See, it has actually the money and everything. This is more updated because they keep on updating it, like the how many people have filed for like toxic exposure, all that stuff. Just like what is this? Oh, see, there we go. Let me make this a bit larger for you. See, I can see it. So, population number of veterans in states is 18,592,454. Oh, we've got more that made claims, so that's improved. So now we're up to 8.5 million, and that's a lot of those came within the past 2 years because of the PACT Act and people filing because of toxic exposure, all those burn pits we dealt with, all those locations, those people that served in like a toll, a lot of that stuff. A lot of people are adding on to it because of the fact that now they're being covered for it because of the PACT Act. See, it's the resources that we are to each other that people don't realize. We are the biggest resource to each other because the thing is somebody finds something, it's on us to teach. Continue to be a leader, be that non-commissioned officer, even though you outside the military, be that officer and lead people to understand that. They were just like, you're the only one that's going to take care of yourself, but there's a lot of veterans that are dealing with issues. Some of them are dealing with the same issues, and they've gone through somebody or they heard from this other vet that went through this and stuff like that. And the thing is it doesn't hurt to ask. Like, it's not necessarily saying that everything is going to be correct because I'm not always 100% correct on this. So if I say something wrong, please let me know so I can fix myself and be able to make sure that I'm teaching people the correct way. The problem is that with instances like that, like Carmen, all veterans are in the same position. If you are trying to get to 100% P&T, you're dealing with issues. There's no way around that. You are dealing with issues. If you are 100% P&T, you are dealing with issues. Now, what can you do? You have to talk to each other to assist each other. But at the same time, make sure that we are giving proper information out to each other. Not trying to gaslight each other or not trying to like give these crazy insinuations like, oh, you do this is automatic. Like, no, you still got to do the paperwork. You still got to do the diagnostic. You still got to get diagnosed. You still got to get the paperwork. You still got to do a DBQ. You still got to get a nexus letter. You still got to get imagery, x-rays, CAT scans, MRIs. You still got to get buddy statements. You still have to file. Like, you still have to go through that procedure properly. But at the same time, when you're getting assistance through the VA, you need to talk about all those resources that you were able to obtain so that another service member learns from it. My camera just go out? I think my camera just went out. Yeah, my camera just went out. Hold on. I think my camera overheated, which it usually doesn't, but it's out of here. And that's the thing. That's the thing a lot of people don't realize. It's just like we need to be able to teach and educate those service members. Show them what needs to happen. Show them what it is, and it's the same thing that we got to make sure that we're doing it and sharing to active duty service members, because at the end of the day, they are also going to be going through this. Maybe they're not going through it right now, but they're going to go through it down the road. They're going to go through this issue of learning what they're dealing with becoming a transitioning service member, understanding that the BDD program works, benefits delivery by discharge, understanding that you have to make sure you notate everything, how you file things, how you have everything documented, how you're making sure that you are actually filing these things at the beginning of your time of getting out and not waiting years after, because that's where a lot of veterans fall into the problem. Veterans are waiting years after they've gotten out to decide to file a claim. When if you would have done this once you got out, you would have had an easier time. Now it's you dealing with your medical records and getting that, and now proving to the VA that you didn't incur these injuries after the military. And that's where it gets people, where people just be like, oh, the VA is tough and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, the VA be fucking up. The VA be fucking up. Clear as day, they be fucking up. But at the end of the day, if you ain't providing, like I tell people, if you're gonna file, you need to be able to grab all the documentation and all the stuff you have and be able to hand it to a random person, and that person should be able to tell you what is wrong with you. That's how concrete you have to have your evidence and your paperwork together to ensure that that's what's going on. So you have everything there. So it's just like, hey, I went through this. I thought when I first got out, now it's difficult 20 years later. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's just like, Carmen, for some, it's easy to go through. For some, it's not. For some, if they had no documentation of anything while they served and they did one contract, two, whatever they did, and they had nothing recorded in their medical records, it's kind of tough to prove anything outside of that. That's when you have to get those nexus letters and these diagnoses. But if you had something of any kind of sort of documentation while in service, makes it 10 times easier. Because now it's basically you are being evaluated, but at the same time, it's showing you that, hey, this is what you have, this is what you're dealing with. In some cases it's gonna work, some cases it's not. That's what people need to realize. You have to be able to give your disability claim to anybody, just to a random stranger. Somebody you don't know. It could be another service member. You should be able to have your imagery, your statements, your DBQs, your nexus letter, imagery and whatever, and just hand it to somebody, and somebody should be able to look at it just like, so you got back problems. Looks like your lumbar is shit, you got a bulging disc. MRI shows this shit is like all the way, yeah. This is what you got. And that's it. So that when you hand that to the VA rater or the CMP examiner goes, they're just gonna ask you like, hey man, how much can you bend? And this and that. Some CMP examiners, they're not medical professionals. They're just some are, some aren't. They get contracted to do it. They don't get paid much to do that. Listening in on a VA attorney, they was just like, some of them get paid like maybe $100-$200 per person that get seen for it, which is not a lot. But most of the time they will ask you questions concerning what it is you're going through, and it depends on what it is you're going through. If you are going through a bunch of stuff, they're going to ask you more in-depth questions. But if you go and they go through your records and they see, damn, they got a bulge in this, they got this, damn, he got his medical record showing that he went through medical while in service and stuff like that, they ain't going to ask you too many questions. They just gonna pull out the stynometer. Dash is always here. He always tells me the stynometer, whatever it's called. And they're gonna check your bending ability. That's it. I was like, I don't need to ask you no more questions. I was just like, I see your disc is bulging. I see the MRI. I see the X-ray. I see your shit is not in place. Now I'm gonna ask you how it affects you. What can't you do? Oh, I can't run. I can't walk the same. I can't lift up heavy stuff because my lower back gives out, stuff like that. That's what they ask you. That's how you get your percentage. But remember, each percentage is different when you're obtaining it. And that's what people need to realize also. Each percentage is different. You don't get the same percentages for everything. Not everything is going to get you 100%. And that's what people need to realize. Not everything is going to get you 100%. It will never be the case. And that's not going to change anytime soon. You are not going to get 100% for everything. It's just not going to happen. It doesn't happen that way. Why? Because the Code of Federal Regulations won't allow that. And if you don't know, I'll give you out a link to the Code of Federal Regulations. I should make a button for that. I had my assistant, but my assistant isn't working right now. I have my little VA assistant. I don't know if he's working. I should try it out. Private Cruise. See if he shows up. I don't know if he shows up. Oh, he did show up. Y'all see Private Cruise? That's little Private Cruise. I forgot what the command was. My bad. Provide chat code of regulations. There you go. That's my little assistant, y'all. That's private. And that's I'm working on the assistant to have them help and assist more on certain items and stuff like that. We will get it to the point where hopefully I'm able to use that assistant and it will provide you specific answers. So like if you ask a certain question, I'm trying to make it that you will get a answer on it right then and there. I'm living proof of that my examiner barely asked me any questions since I am in the med board. The Army put me on my three conditions I did not file for and telling me I have to claim them. No point at 100%. And that's the thing. That's just like what people need to understand is like not all examiners are the same. Some examiners actually care to actually make sure you're taken care of, and they will put other claims in there that you didn't claim for. And then there are some that are just gonna do the minimum they have to do. If you go and you say you are claiming your lower back, the only thing they're going to check for is your lower back. You may have sciatica. You may have the numbing down the leg. If you don't explain that and you don't claim that, some of them don't go out of their way to do that. But for some, when you're talking to them and they're examining you, they're going to ask you just like, how does this affect you? And then you tell them, well, I have issues with my lower back that sometimes I feel like I get pins and needles in my leg, or my leg goes numb completely, or I start losing feeling in my leg and stuff like that. And then they'll be like, okay, well, this is another issue. And they might put sciatica or paralysis of sciatica. I think that's the claim. I forget what the diagnostic code is for it, but that's what they'll put on there. You get that information, now that CMP examiner just be like, okay, off of what you're telling me, this is what you have. Shit, I had shin splints added to my damn claim because of the injury I got to my ankle. I didn't put that shit in there. I didn't even know it was shin splints. I just know it was pain. I know what I was going through. I described it and she was like, oh, that's shin splints. I was like, did you deal with shin splints at any time during your career? I was just like, yeah, at the beginning of my career, there was a whole bunch till I learned what the hell insoles were. But I've been dealing with that for some time. And she's like, oh, okay. And then she went ahead and just put that shit in there. Next thing you know, when I got my documents back, basically saying like the results and what my rating was and me being 100% PNT, she was like, it was just like claim for shin splints, found to be service connected. And I was just looking, I was like, hold up. I was like, when the hell did I claim? I never claimed this. She put it in there for me. So, and then Dash is saying, Dash is one of those that's saying that's like, you are able to put that. There you go. See, I told you, he always got me. Goniometer. We'll get 20% for both shoulder and 20% for back. The examiner put extra diagnosis on same body part, so it looks like I'll get more than 10% from. And that's what it is. Depending on your examiner, depends a lot. You can get a super beefed up rating because of all the stuff that the person can put on there. Because you got to remember, the CFR is out there for all veterans. The thing is most veterans don't know what the CFR is. Basically, that link I just posted in there, the CFR, that's the schedule of ratings. If you have any issues, go within that schedule of ratings, chapter 1, part 4, schedule of ratings, go through it and find the issues you are having. Find those issues and then claim it with those exact wording that is being used there. Because a lot of people have the instance also of like, hey, when people file, they'll just put back pain. What is back pain? Is it cervical or is it lumbar? Is it upper back or lower back? You just put back pain. There's no diagnostic code for just back pain. So then that can lead to you having something summed up into a different diagnostic code, or it can sum up to multiple things because it falls under certain criteria. But if you're just putting back issues, they're going to look at it as like, well, he got back issues. For his back, we're going to give him this rating. How much can he bend? He'll get that. But if you had cervical and you had certain specific there, that's a rating. Because you got to remember, if you have back issues, you got bulging discs or just a herniated disc, most of the time that's caused with degenerative disc disease. That's also another claim. If you don't put that in there, and you just put back pain, your back hurt. Okay, they're going to leave it at that. And that's what people don't understand. It's just like the more in-depth you are and the more specific you are about the diagnostic codes and what it is, the injury is you're dealing with and all that stuff, that will go farther for you and will advance your capabilities of getting a higher rating. Because like in the case like Dash just explained, shoulder and back, and the examiner put extra stuff in there because you can have a back injury, but then if you have degenerative disc disease, that's a cause to it. So that examiner probably saw x-rays and he saw it was just like, okay, he has loss of cartilage there, and that did that. And that's what a lot of people fail to understand, and that's why I try to tell people. It's just like you have to have all that documentation. The VA don't give a shit about your pain. I'm sorry. The VA does not care about how much in pain you are. And that's what people need to understand. VA don't care about your pain. They don't care how much pain you're in. What they care about is how it affects you. How does your injury affect your daily living? How does it affect what you used to be able to do and you can no longer do? Because the thing is there's no measurement per pain. I can't measure how somebody feels in pain, because Dash, Carmen, and myself can have the same injury and all three of us will have different pain tolerance. So for me, I have a pretty high pain tolerance. It might not affect me, but this is how it affects me. Carmen may have a lower one. Dash may even have a lower threshold for pain. And where's the same injury? There's no difference to it. The thing is how does it affect us all? Now it's just like, if all three of us cannot lift, like do this with my left without being in pain, that's how they notice it, or the range of motion. And that's why I bring people back to this. Hold on. Bring people to the disability ratings and the schedule for ratings. Go to the table of contents, musculoskeletal system. Boom. You start scrolling down and it'll and it'll show you the pictures. Straight up, this is what they're looking at. They don't care about your pain. This is what they look at. How can you rotate? How much can you move? The motion, the range of motion that you have available, that's what they rate you on, and that's what you get a percentage on, not your pain. And that's what people need to understand, that's one of the biggest drawbacks to veterans, because the thing is like, you have to explain, when you go into the CMP examiner, you have to explain to them how it is that it bothers you on a daily basis. Don't, like, you can say, like, I saw, like, listening in on a VA attorney. And there was like, you can say that, hey, it feels okay today. You can say that, but you got to follow it with what the worst part is or how badly it gets. It was like, you know what? Today, my back isn't as bad. But when it does get bad, I can't walk. I have to lay down. My wife has to go pick stuff up for me. I have to take medication. I have to take muscle relaxers. I have to take whatever else, and I have to lay down, and I can't move and I can't function. That's how it affects me. Today is not as bad. I'm in pain, but it's not as bad as all the time. When it gets bad, I get to the point where I'm not able to function. I'm not able to do this and not able to do that. And then they're going to measure, hey, how much does your back bend? And when you only slightly bend your back, they'll be like, okay, shit's fucked up. All right, that's how we going to rate you. You could be like, I'm in pain the whole time. Okay. I can't see you in pain all the time. I'm going off of what you can provide me as documentation and information that I can see. I think people don't realize is after a while you learn to live with the pain. It becomes normal. So you start using tips to reduce it. For example, my back hurts. I said differently. It's how it affects you. Yeah. And that's what people need to understand. It's not, pain is different. And the thing is if you're going to get on pain meds, you ain't going to feel the pain. Because that's what they're prescribing you is pain meds. But it's still affecting you to the point where you have to take those pain meds. So maybe it was because you did something that aggravates it. Because a CMP examiner will do that. They will ask you what aggravated your symptoms. What agitated it? What did this? What did that? And that's what people need to realize. And that's what it is. Yeah, and that's why I was like, look, if you go once you go to the VA or you go to any of your providers, you will notice that they always ask you, what's your pain at today? And then you could just be like, oh, my pain is at like a 3. Then you go the next time, yo, my shit is at like 9. And they'll be like, whoa, what'd you do? And then that's the first thing that what'd you do? I was like, what caused it? And stuff like that. And that's the thing. It's just like you have to get to the point where they realize that, and you have to explain that. You have to be like, at the CMP examiner is the one time that you are a service member and a veteran. You cannot be shy. You cannot be prideful. You cannot be that tough guy. At the CMP examiner is a spot that's the place where if you want to decide to break down, that's where you need to break down. That's what you need to tell. You need to spill all the beans. Spill all of them. That's what you need to do it at the CMP, so that way they understand what it is you're going through, what it is that it's affecting you. Like I said, like I keep telling this story. It was like one of my first couple of lives. It was talking to a older gentleman, and he was just like he was having back issues. And I just made joking around. I was just like, look, man, it could just be like that. Your back is so back that you can't even cut your grass. I was like, you can't push a lawnmower because your back was hurting and stuff like that. Little did I know that same guy was just like, you know what? My neighbor cuts my grass. And I was like, oh shit. It was just like, I was just joking. I was literally just joking as like throwing that as a reference. And he was just like, my neighbor actually does cut my grass because my grass was getting too high, and he decided to cut it because he saw I couldn't cut it. And I was just like, that's a buddy statement. It's not a buddy, but it's still a statement, a witness statement being written by your neighbor explaining how it affects your mobility. That's adding to your evidence. You can't even cut your grass because it got so bad that your neighbor saw it and decided, yo, I'll cut your grass. You put that in a damn statement and that'll help it. And that's why that's why I like telling veterans. It's just like, think outside the box. Like, you know what I see? And that's something you got to do. And that's why I was just like, with Dash is like some issues, Dash is like, there's no fixing. Meds help, and it's just like you find alternatives, but even the alternatives sometimes help and sometimes don't. With back issues, that shit is tough. Because the thing is your back don't grow back. that's the one thing. See? Aquatic therapy and method. But that's the one thing I like telling veterans is just like, think outside the box. Think outside the box. Don't just think in the realm of just regular thinking. I was just like, think of how else it affects you. Because the thing is most of the time, veterans don't write the shit down. It affects you in this way, it hurts you in this way, you weren't able to do this. Veterans don't write it down. If you start noticing and you know you're going to file a disability claim for it, keep a little journal. Keep a journal. Keep a journal of your injuries, because that's what a lot of people do with their migraines. With their migraines, people keep a journal of how many times they get the migraines, when they got the migraines, how long the migraines lasted, how bad was the migraine, did you have to lay down, did you have to, and they make a note of that, and they make that, and that's part of their criteria. I was just like, and that's what people need to realize. Keep a journal. Keep Realize all the things that you are not able to do because you are not yourself. Everything that you wanted to do that you have not been able to do. I used to love playing basketball. I can't play ball no more. My daughter plays basketball. I can't really play basketball with my daughter. That's affecting me. But cutting grass, shit. Your back went out almost while you were cleaning the damn gutters. It is fall. Leaves is gonna start falling. Got to make sure those gutters is clean. If you got back issues, you can't climb, and you got problems. That's something that it affects your living. That affects your ability. That was just like, hey, I had to hire somebody because I couldn't do it. Blue light glasses. I need to talk to the VA about that though, for my vision, to see if I can get more blue light glasses through them. But and that's what it is. It was just like the examiner is not going to ask as many questions when you have the information available. For me with migraines, they just asked how often do you get them and stuff like that. I told them how often I get them and how bad they are, but I had already been diagnosed with that while in service. I got medication while in service for migraines. I just told them that whatever they were giving me was not working for me. So I decided to use over the counter stuff. I would use Excedrin migraine ones, and sometimes the extra strength that would help, but I would still have to lay down just to recover. I was just like, the amount of times that my wife has had to take care of stuff around the house or something like that because I'm just useless because of these migraines. I have to lay down. I can't do nothing. That's something that you need to make sure you notate, and you give that CMP examiner a visual explaining how it is that it affects you. And that's what you need to do. But then you also have to have the documentation to back it up. Because you can say all of that stuff, but if you've never gotten any migraine medication, you've never taken it, you've never gotten diagnosed with migraines, it's kind of hard for a CMP examiner to be like, oh, yeah, he deals with migraines. It could just be headaches. You just get bad headaches. And that's what they might look at. And you might not get the full percentage for migraines because you don't have anything highlighting that you have migraines. That's why diagnosis goes such a long way. And that's the thing. It's just like when you have that information, Carmen, it backs it up. But like I said, this is the issue with veterans that have been out of service for so long and have not committed to getting that stuff documented and stuff like that. Shit, 70 for migraines? Damn, I didn't even know you could go that high. I'm at 50 for that. But that's probably those ER visits. That's showing that it's just like you had to hospitalize for it. And that's a big thing. That's documentation you have. I never had to get I would never go to the ER for that shit. They look at me weird. It was like, boy, you better get your ass into you better take some Tylenol. That's my family. My family was just like home remedies. Drink this, do that. It was like, look, this shit ain't working right now. I feel like I feel like I got hit with something. This is not this is not working for me. I want to go home. It was like, but you are home. It was just like, damn, I can't go nowhere. I guess I gotta lay down. Um, but those are the things like that that people don't realize. People don't acknowledge that, and that's the part that is kind of difficult. Just like this is the stuff you need to look into. You need to have that documented. You need to have the paperwork that solidifies what it is you're dealing with so that they can know. Ice cap, yes, though that helps. Usually that'll do. I just put like an ice pack, wrap it around, lay it on there, take the medication, and sometimes depending on how I already feel, like if I know it's gonna be a really bad one, I'll take the prescribed medication and then I'll take the medication on top of it. I don't know if I'm supposed to do that, but sometimes that shit don't work anyway, and I'm just nope, I'm out for the count. But that's the stuff that people need to realize. But if you ain't got none of that shit documented, you ain't got a diagnosis, you ain't got no paperwork for it, it's damn near impossible. I'm not gonna say it's damn near impossible. It is just a very difficult time to try to get that stuff claimed, all that stuff, and the information processed and stuff like that. If you don't have documentation to solidify it, and that's what people need to realize. It's just like you need to have that stuff there. You have to have it notated. You have to have it documented. You have to be able. People have to be able to see it. Like I said, you should be able to provide somebody with the documentation. Thank you for tuning in, Carmen. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I'm glad that I am assisting people and I'm giving it. I was just like, write my story. One day maybe I will, Carmen. One day I will. One day I will. And then hopefully this will be, I think all these lives that I've done will be the story highlighting it. Cause a lot of them, like I've put a lot of them under my members thing. The members, I have like a couple of different things. Like the cheapest one is like 99 cents, so you get access to it because most of the stuff is just there. Um, but yeah, I do these Sunday. I do the workshops. Today I just decided to do it because I was just like, hey, I'm gonna work on the video that I'm gonna make for the VA charts. I was just like, might as well go online and have chats, run into people, talk to people about the different changes, what the numbers are, and just explain benefits and go and continue to do what I'm always doing, but just working on the stuff I always work on also. Like I said, I don't think I haven't seen nobody has made a video like I have. I've had it for 2023 and I had it for 2024. Nobody has made a video like I did showing the numbers and stuff like that. So I plan to keep it that way. This is something that I'm gonna continue to do every single year. Every time the numbers come out, I put the numbers for the VA disability charts from 0% to 100%. I put the VA SMC, the special monthly compensation ones. I put those out on there every year. I did that last year also. This year I'm probably gonna do also the active duty military pay charts and the reserve National Guard pay charts also. So I'm gonna do that, and that's something that I do every single year. This is just like this is my first time. It's randomly. I usually am not on a Thursday. I usually don't do this. It was just like this one. I just popped up, and I was just like, you know what? Let me get on here, chat with people while I work on this, and see how people feel about the 2.5 increase, if they like it, dislike it, or just have just information for people to gather within this, because there's a lot of information that can be obtained through these lives. Because like I said, I can learn from a lot of you guys, and you guys learn from me also. So it works, and then another veteran can see this and watch this and learn from that also. So that's why I think it's important to do these, because it's just like we're putting out information that's factual information that's out of the regulation, and information that has benefited myself, benefited others, and I've assisted others. So it's just like that's what we got to continue to do to make sure that veterans are being taken care of, because we can't be depending on the VA. You have to depend on yourself to take care of yourself. It is you, the one going through the issues. It is you that needs to go and file the disability claim. It is you that needs to get the documentation. It is you that is suffering and dealing with these claims and these disabilities. The VA is not going to reach out to you. Like I said, like I shown, basically 19 million vets out there, and the number of them using it is 8.5. So 19 million vets alive across the states, only 8.5 are actually using the VA. Keep that in mind. Because the thing is Let's say we get to that 19 million that every single vet is using the VA. There's going to be wait times, y'all. There's going to be a slowdown. The VA is struggling now to manage 8.5 million. Imagine adding another 10 million. That's not even counting everybody that's about to retire now. Because you got to remember, all those Afghan and Iraq vets that joined at the beginning are now hitting those 20-year marks, 21, 22, 23-year marks. They're going to get out of service. They retired, they're going to get out of service. Those are no veterans being added in. That's why the PACT Act is a big thing, because it covers a lot of the people that served during this time period. But it also assists veterans from the Vietnam, Korean War, those that were in a atoll, um, all the radiation and all that stuff. That stuff that's there for a reason. It's implemented there to assist veterans, but veterans need to take advantage of it. You need to file those claims. You need to go through the process of, what do I do? How do I go about it? Can I do this? Can I not do this? And it's as easy as just calling the VA at times. Like, yes, you might spend a while on the VA phone. I know the line is long, but if you're gonna be there, press 0. It'll get you to the operator, and then the operator will direct you to whatever service it is, so you don't have to listen to like the 5 minutes of damn speech that is there. I was like, they should just put that as just like, I don't need to hear this shit. Press this. It's like, if you know the section you need to deal with, press this. Okay, and then it'll give you the rundown of like, simplify it. Because I know they're trying to get information out, but at the same time, that's something that is just like, bro, you wasting my time here. It's like 15 minutes worth of damn messages, and now is when I'm starting to figure out where I'm gonna head to. Let's cut some time out. If you got a message or something to that, there's mail and there's email. Everybody got a phone. You can send a message through via email. Will people read it? Maybe, maybe not. But you can do it that way if there's updates and stuff like that. Because that's one thing, was just like, have a resource for the veterans. Because look, va.gov is a great site. Don't get me wrong. But there's too much info in there. That shit is spread around. Like, literally, I did that. I was like, what was it, 2 weeks ago or a week ago? Where I was just like, all right, let's find the disability compensation pay. That shit took me like 5 clicks to get to the thing. That's why I made that first video. That's why I'm making this video of basically, this is the disability pay and this is what the raise is. Because that was something I was looking for when I was getting out the service. So I know if I was getting out the service looking for the pay, and I'm still looking for the pay after I become a veteran already, and I'm getting disability, it was just like, I know I'm not the only one that's going to use this as a resource. So that's why I was just like, it makes sense to make it. And then that's what I've been doing. I was like, we're working on this one. This one will come out. I'll push it out, and then I'll push out the one with the special monthly compensation. I'll push that out. Then I'll push out the one with active duty. And then there's probably gonna be one that just highlights the different separate benefits, like the DIC ones, like the dependent indemnity compensation. I always got a problem with certain words. That one, the BAH stuff, the Chapter 35 benefits, the DEA benefits, what that is, because I know it's like, those are hours, like 1536 for full time. I forget the other one. It's like 980, I think, for 3/4 of the time, and then 340 or 480 for half the time or less than half the time. And then from there, it depends on your school pay. So let's say that you're in school, the DEA, but you're only going for like one class. If the one class is less than the 340, basically the DEA program is going to pay the tuition for that class. You will not be receiving the money. They're just going to basically pay the class. So that's one thing to keep in mind. But those are little different instances that most people aren't aware of, haven't heard of. And that's why it's just like, it's good to have this information, because you can learn from it and you benefit from it. I'm not the only one that benefits from these little segments. Each additional child under 18 is $31.87. And this is one thing I've always found crazy. I was just like, this should be across the board for each additional child. It should be the same. How it's split right here, that basically is just like you get a different percentage for the disability rating that you're at. I think that needs to be changed. It should be that if you are using, if it's basically you're getting this for each additional child under 18, everybody should get the 106 and 14, which is the max amount. Everybody gets $106.14 for each additional child. Flat. Keep it flat. Don't this whole because your disability is this, and that. A child is still a child. Just because you're disabled more than the other, the child is still going to be the child. Like, somebody explain that one to me. I was like, for each additional child under 18, everybody should get the full amount. It should be $106.14. It should not be that, oh, because you got a lower disability, you get less. The child is still going to cost the same no matter what. If the consumer price index is going up, that they felt it was only 2.5, then everybody should get the same amount for the same thing, because it's not any different for it. You still got a 2.5 raise. Just still get the same amount for each child under. If I'm only getting 31.78 because I'm 30%, I'm already getting less money because I'm only 30%. But my child is receiving less because I'm at 30%. So basically, the child is not receiving the same benefit because I'm not as disabled. Like, you see what I'm saying? Or maybe I'm not looking at it the correct way. At least that's the way I'm looking at it right now. Because just putting this number in, I'm like, damn, each additional child is only $31.78. I'm like, that's wild. I'm like, that's not much at all. Because then for each additional school child, it goes to 102, 102, what's that? 50. I should have took the dollar sign off. So that's why I find it interesting to do that you split it up differently depending on the percentage. Yeah, I know. You said no book. You ain't getting nothing else. And that's why I say it was just like, that's why I don't see how it makes sense that just because of your percentage you get a different amount. That makes no sense to me. I don't understand how that works. I need to highlight all of these, slide them over, highlight all of these, slide them over. Because this is basically the veteran only part comes out, and then it switches to with dependents. So with dependents, I have the veteran with spouse, veteran with spouse and child, veteran with child, each additional child under 18, and then each additional school child under 18. I am not going to add into the video, I am not going to add this whole additional for disabled spouse thing till I figure out what the hell that is. Because I'm still confused as to what that is. Because it's not aid in attendance. Unless it is aid in attendance and they just put it as disabled spouse. But it says disabled spouse. But then it disappears after that. And you don't see it again. So the only thing I can think of is that maybe they mistyped it. And it was aid in attendance. But that I'm not entirely sure. You know, I don't know what this whole section is right here. This little section right there is confusing me to a higher degree, I would say. Because it definitely doesn't explain that. And it doesn't go into it. So that is definitely interesting. Very interesting. And I don't know why that is. Don't know why. I don't know what additional for disabled spouses, because I've never seen that before. That's one thing I have never seen. I say with dependents. So then I will duplicate this. Copy. paste that here, and this one is with dependent parents. With dependent parents, okay. Because I already got those, covered the child and stuff like that. Then I'm gonna go to the second one, which is one parent, two parents, one parent, two child, one parent. Because there's 6 different things. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I may have to make one a bit smaller. Let me see how I have this one. But yeah, like I said, if anybody has questions and stuff like that, don't hesitate to ask either. Because most of this is just me working on the stuff. Couldn't really fit the video into the mobile version. It's on the other version, you can see it, but I still have it limited in size there also. Where is it? So it has it there, but it covers some of the thing. I have to find a way to make it so it's different, or highlight this in a different way. Make a separate screen where I can show you like basically me working on the video, and then that way, because on this one I'm showing, I still have the visualization of the numbers, but then I also have the video being created on the other side. So it's smaller, so it's not something entirely there that y'all probably be visible, but y'all get the rundown of it. This is just me creating the bare bones of it, because I had the one I had last year, and I decided to change it up a bit because I listened to basically the information that was given to me from the previous ones, where some people were complaining about the music that I used, and the other thing I know people were complaining about, which I did realize also, is that the numbers were fading out too much. So literally, like, the numbers would fade in, and they weren't lasting enough, and it was just like the effect I had to like disintegrate the numbers was making it difficult for viewing. So that's why I decided I'm gonna scrap that one and was like, let's do something brand new that'll basically highlight everything that needs to be shown and is there, and that way just like people can use it in a better manner and see it in a better manner, because otherwise it was just like it wasn't showing it. So I was just basically trying to make sure I'm getting the feedback that I received from the channel, because a lot of the videos don't get a lot of comments and stuff like that, but then those comments that do stand out, for the people that do comment, I tend to listen to those, because it's just like, okay, this is something like, it's constructive criticism. Some of it wasn't very polite, I'll say that, but some of it was just like, hey, these effects is messing it up, like those numbers pop up and then they disintegrate, don't see them. So this video is going to be a bit longer, where it'll highlight it for a longer time period. It'll keep it up there. Each section will be up separate. Oh, Carmen with the super. I appreciate you, Carmen. Appreciate you, Carmen. Appreciate you for that super. Appreciate that. But yeah, that's how we're gonna do it. Shout out to Carmen. Carmen Williams, I appreciate you. Can I put this like, I can't pin this? Can I pin this? I thought I could pin this. Thought I could pin it. It doesn't want to let me pin it. Okay then, I guess thank you, but it's not letting me pin it. But yeah, that's what it is. Everybody will do that. I'm just going off of that feedback. Feedback is there. You'll have your stuff. So this one will be, like I said, this one will be slightly different also, because the thing that we went over earlier, how each percentage gives you certain might give you extra not incentives, but it gives you extra benefits, whether it's the being able to use the BTSSS system, or the healthcare, or the burial and plot allowance, or the veteran readiness and employment program. All those different things are being put on there, and I'll highlight them when they come into effect. So basically the video will start off with 10% or 0%, and it'll tell you the benefits that you gain from that. Then since you ain't getting no compensation, it's not gonna have a number. Then it'll go to 10%. It'll say what it is that you gain from that 10%, what you're able to use, and what benefits are through the VA, and then it'll give you the compensation amount. Same thing for 20%. What it happens at 30%, same thing. 30% is just like now you get paid for your dependents. That gets added on. And then the money for that, it'll be what the veteran makes alone, then what it is with dependents, which basically covering like with the spouse and child, and each additional child, and under the child, and then the next part is going to be the what you gonna call it, the parents, so the dependents with parents, so that way it highlights that, so you have the information for just if you have a child, and then a one that if you have parents. But they also do have one that is like with parent, with one parent, one child, but that'll be added in there. I just got to make sure to be able to fit everything into that so that it all fits and I can put all of them in there, because it's 6 different categories now instead of the 5 with the previous one. But then each one of these will have that highlighted and it'll be visible for people to see. And then it's literally just me copying and pasting the items so that way people can see them, but then also using that information so that people continue to obtain the information. Let me see, I might have to move this one up a bit. Make sure these are lined up better. Because that way people can get that information, they can see it, it's visualized. Then they see, okay, this is what I'm making, this is how much I'm making, what it is, and like that. What? That's random. I usually don't have people come randomly in here. Help me $500, please, Binance. So it was like, bro, does it look like I have $500 to be given out to somebody? It's like I'm complaining about a 2.5% raise over here, and you think I got $5, bro? I could give you, I'll give you 2.5%. That's wild. It's crazy though. That's the percentage we're at. 2.5. It was like, what can we do? Like I said, we spoke about it. Carmen spoke about it earlier. It was just like you could get you barely gonna get a bit of extra groceries because everything went up. I was just like, but the thing is like I said, it needs to be something made with that everybody gets a 4% raise no matter what, year after year. That I believe should be the minimum. Keep up with the wages and how everybody gets wage increases. If it's 4% for wage increase, we should get a minimum of 4% every year, and that should be the minimum. It should never go lower than that. That's it. That way we get a stable thing that at least no matter what happens, 4% each year. And people are gonna be like, why not 5? Why not 6? Why not just 4? 4 is good, because on average for the past like decade, it has been around 2.6 for the cola rate. 2.6, 2.7, I believe, is the average between the last 10 years. We got that 8.7 increase 2 years ago, and everybody was excited as shit. Then we got that 3 point something. Everybody was excited as shit. And then this year, just like somehow, well, the economy has gotten better. The economy was crap 2 years ago. It has gotten better, so that's why they figured it's dropped down. Prices have still gone up. Prices have still stayed up. Different locations have different costs of living, and that has taken into account also. So that's something that people need to realize also. But at the same time, it's just like need to understand that. So veteran with one parent. Okay, so I need to slide this over. With 1 parent at 30% is 588.67. But yeah, that's what we need to do. As vets, we need to start coming together, and we need to start getting together and start putting policies together and start putting documentation together, even if it's a damn petition or something, and start getting all those 19 million of us that are out there together to get something formulated for us. Because the thing is we have congressmen, we have representatives. Shit, I got a list of all them people now. I have a list in one of the documents that I'm putting together. I have every single one of the Senate and House of Representatives Veterans Committees. I have their damn names. I have their contact information. I even got their Twitter handles or X handle, whatever you want to call it. I got that info there, and that's something that's gonna be, like I said, that's part of the digital product I'm creating. But that stuff that's there that is just like, hey, we need to start reaching out to these people. Why is this going on? Why hasn't this been updated? Because that's another thing. That's another thing that veterans need to come together with. Their state benefits. We need to start coming together in state benefits. No matter what state you in, you need to start talking to your representatives and start putting pressure on these people to fix and change certain benefits. A lot of benefits for a lot of states are for old wars. Not to say to get rid of them, but we need to start including these Afghan and Iraq issues. All these service members serve too, but the thing is a lot of the states are outdated when it comes to the benefits that are there. Like there's certain ones that is just like I know when I was doing like the tax exemption workshop for, I forget which states it was, that there was like, oh, a World War I veterans received it. I was like, World War I? Why ain't none of them around? How do you have a benefit for nobody? That's it. They're all gone. You have a benefit in your law that covers World War I veterans, but have not updated it to include Iraq and Afghanistan. Those wars have ended, or those operations have ended. Better yet, I'll say. But you haven't updated it, but you still have something from World War I. I was just like, that's where us as veterans need to start coming together and just like, hey, representative, or hey, senator, I'm a Operation Enduring Freedom, Iraqi Freedom, uh, whatever, whichever acronym you can come up with that you served during that time period. That's what's just like, hey, can we get benefits started creating for these people? The PACT Act does do that because of the burn pits and stuff like that. But we need to continue to formulate more stuff to update other stuff. Because if you have benefits for veterans of Vietnam, so the Vietnam veterans have certain and specific benefits. Those same benefits should be translated over to Afghan and Iraq veterans. If you have anything in writing for anything of a previous generation, you should be updating it so that it services and benefits future generations also. Because they are still service members, they are still veterans. And that's something that is just like, as us vets, that's what we need to get together and start writing. I was like, I'm getting my master's degree in public administration to write policy, because that's the only way we're going to benefit as veterans is writing actual policy. We could talk all the stuff we want and stuff. If we're not writing it and trying to make stuff into law, trying to pass it into legislature or put it into state law, even county law, whatever the case, we are not going to benefit from it because we are allowing people, like some of them have served. But if you got a lot of the veteran committees, the House of Representatives or the Senate committees that have never served. So as a veteran, they don't understand going through the VA. They don't understand what it is, the wait times, or not having the resources, or them not having the funding for it. They don't understand that because they don't deal with it. Some do because some are veterans. But that's the stuff where us as veterans, that's where we need to become a bigger voice. Like the Veteran of Foreign Wars group and the American Legion, they do a lot of that because they do voice and they do talk to representation. But at the same time, it's just like, look at the number of people that do it. The same way it's just like 19 million of us and only 8.5 of us actually use the VA benefits. If 8.5 of us got together and be like, hey, look, we need to put this in writing. We can make waves. That's all I'm saying. If I gotta be the one that starts it, y'all can follow me. We gonna do that. That's what it's gonna be. If down the line y'all get older and y'all see a policy and y'all see just cruise or you see cruise, that's me writing it. I'm telling y'all right now. We gonna fix ourselves. You can't just keep on letting it bypass and then just waiting and stuff like that. We have to start making these adjustments as service members to assist each other and be better off for each other, because that's where we're running into this problem where we're not assisting each other enough, and we're not working on better ways and better solutions. And I think that's where we're falling behind as vets. We've been doing a lot of the complaining, and rightfully so, but we need to start getting the solutions together. And that's why I say it's important for y'all to make sure with y'all political affiliations, check to see what they plan to do for you as a veteran. Are they planning to do stuff that benefits you and future veterans? Or are they trying to do stuff that will hinder you and future veterans and past veterans? Because you got to remember, a lot of vets don't file for disability claims right off the bat. A lot of veterans wait way after to file a disability claim. And if the legislation and the changes are being implemented to change what goes on with you, that goes a long way. That's gonna affect you in a bigger way that you than you really realize. So veteran, so that's stuff that needs to be. We got to notate that, y'all. We got to put that in play. That's the stuff that we need to talk about. These numbers are there. Cost of living for most places went up more than 2.5. So we need to put that into strategy. It's like, hey, congressman, it's just like, look, I know y'all like doing it, and it basically goes off of the same thing, like Social Security goes up and stuff like that. But I think we need a 4% raise year in, year out, no questions asked. That'd be the minimum. 4%. Minimum 4% each year. That's the raise we receive, no matter what. Now, if it goes higher, it goes higher. But at the minimum, 4% each year. That's it. Not asking for nothing crazy. I'm not asking for like 10, 15%. No. Because the thing is got to keep up with the wages. The wage increases is supposed to be, and it usually is around 4%. If the wage increases are going 4%, that means that us as veterans should be able to receive a 4% raise also through our benefits. Because the thing is like I said, these changes, like, it's not like our disability rating stays for the whole year. It's not like it fluctuates. The percentages don't change. Once that percentage changed, like once it came out, look, 2.5 till October of 2025, you will not hear anything about another increase. So the cost of living can increase within this year. We're still going to be stuck at 2.5. So I think there has to be something changed with that. It was just like, hey, either you're giving us a larger amount that you know will cover in case of anything or not. Because if veterans are struggling now and you're giving them just 2.5, you need to find something else that isn't allowing them to struggle. Veterans should not be struggling at any point. Should not be struggling at all at any point. So just giving us a certain raise at a certain level just because that's what y'all want to give us, that's something that needs to be changed. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need to add this one again. But yeah, that's literally it, y'all. We need to work on assisting each other, making each other better. But We got to start making changes that actually benefit veterans at the end of the day, because that's where we are slacking. A big issue also is like once veterans get that 100% PNT, they forget about every other veteran. That's the problem. We need to make sure, yeah, you made it to 100% PNT. You got to make sure that should be like a rule. If you made it to 100% PNT, you got to make sure at least another vet makes it to 100% PNT by teaching them what you know. At least do that, because if we do it that way, then that would at least benefit, and we can spread the knowledge around for people. Just like, look, I learned this. I need you to learn this, which I've done because I have plenty of people that I served with that I've gotten them to 100% PNT. And that's just basically me explaining what I do, like on these workshops. Just having that sit down with them is like, look, I need you to do this. Go through this. What did you find? All right, this is where you look at for this. This is where you attribute your issues of that list you made. Find them in this CFR. Go about it that way. What does the CFR tell you? The CFR tells you this, and that. All right. Now, how would you claim that? Do that. Do your research. What secondaries connect to this? What issues are caused by this? Put it as secondary. The thing is most of the time you got to remember, you got to make sure that primary, that first effect is service connected. Then from there, secondaries isn't a problem. It is a problem, but like I said, if you have the diagnosis paperwork, it's not that hard. It's not that hard to get to 100%. If you know what you're doing, it's not that hard. If you got the documentation and if you got all the stuff documented, nexus, diagnosis, DBQs, buddy statements, witness statements, all that stuff, you have all that info, you're going to get to 100%. But remember, if you don't have all that stuff, lying about it ain't going to help you. And the other thing is that people need to stop with this whole poking the bear issue. Everybody's just like, oh, I don't want to file because it might take away my 100%. Your 100% will get taken away if you are getting better, or if you were never that bad in the first place and claimed you were. Plain and simple. I was just like, if you have a disability that you may die from, get that shit on a claim. Because at the end of the day, you're just going to be hurting your family. Because, yeah, you were making this money while you were alive. But if you passed away with something that was service connected, your family at least gets a check. Your spouse and your dependents still get a check. It's not the same tax-free check, but it's still the DIC, the indemnity compensation. You still get that. The dependent indemnity compensation, you will still get that, but it has to be a service-connected issue. If you're just, because it's just like, oh, I'm scared that I might lose my rating, this, and that. If you have your ratings, you should know what's static and what's not. You can pull that, you can request your C file, get that information, and see what's static and what's not. You're going to have your things, you're going to go get seen, you're going to do all this, and it's just like, hey, if you're going to get seen for it, you're going to get seen. If it's not getting better, it's being notated. If it is getting better, that's being notated. I was just like, that stuff is going to be in your record because you're providing that information to the VA. So don't be surprised if you are getting better. It was just like, look, when you filed your claim and you said it was this bad, and now when you go get seen again, it's nowhere near that. That means there's improvement. That means you're not as bad. You received the disability because of that. So keep that in mind. What you say when you go get seen at the VA or for treatment and stuff like that goes a long way. Because you got to remember, if you are seeing anything related through the VA gets that information. So it's not that you magically are going to lose your VA rating or your 100%. It's documented. It has to be documented. The VA will not just outright be like, you know what? We're dropping your rating. It doesn't happen that way. You have to go, it goes through a process. It has to go through it showing improvement. You have to show improvement. You have to have another examination that shows you are improving. If you had a back that you could not move, and then all of a sudden you go back in there and you running and jogging and you can do a backflip and all that, it's just like, damn, your back isn't as bad. You don't need that 30% for your back if you're doing all that shit. You could do all that. It was just like, no, if the pain is constant and you keep having constant pain, you make sure to say that. You make sure, yes, I always have pain. My pain is this. But like I said, The thing with me is when people say to file disability claims for all you need to file. If it's something that you can die from, definitely make sure to file it, because all you're doing is taking care of your family. Yes, those benefits is great now, but when you're not around, is your family gonna be okay? That's the major question. Is your family gonna be okay when you are not around without getting that tax-free 100% check? I was like, those are the things that people need to calculate, and the things that people need to realize when it comes to it. It's just like, yes, I know the whole poking the bear thing, and you might lose a rating. You're gonna lose a rating. You're gonna lose yourself, and then your family's gonna lose out on money that can help them when you're not there to provide. That's all I'm saying. That's a decision you can make. If you, it's it's free money, but there's a reason for the free money. You hurt because of the free money. That's why you get the free money. So you get the tax-free money. But if you decide that it's something that you can die from and you don't want to file for and you don't claim it, and then all of a sudden you pass because of it and your family's left stranded for it, then that's on you. So it's just like it's good to be selfish, but at the same time, like I said, if you have your documentation, you have everything, you have your diagnosis, you have your paperwork, you have everything showing that you are 100% permanent and total, and you have all the criteria, there's no worry for you to lose your rating. Only way you're gonna lose your rating is if you are drastically improving on what you claimed you had bad, and it magically fixed itself. And then the thing is like you also have those people that commit major fraud when it comes to it. Like that one guy in Florida that he was just like, he claimed the dude went to the damn CMP exam with a cane, struggling to walk and all that shit. And then next thing you know, you see videos of this dude lifting, deadlifting, like lifting, I forget what the shit over your head. It was doing all that shit. And they had him on video and everything. This is a dude that came in there saying that he couldn't walk, had to use a cane to walk. But here you are working out and doing all this stuff. It's just like, that goes a long way. And those mentions go a long way. You committing fraud, you gonna either go to jail, which he did go, and you're gonna have to pay them back, or you're gonna lose your rating because you lied about what your rating you said you had. Shit happens all the time. It's just like, I was just like, you shouldn't be scared to file a new thing if you know your disabilities have not gotten better. If you got degenerative disc disease, that shit ain't gonna get better. That's not a rating that you're gonna lose. You have migraines, that's not a rating you're gonna lose. Now, when it comes to muscles and joints and stuff like that, that can get better, cannot. It was like, you might have better movement, you might not have better movement. You might go to physical therapy and they might find that you're doing good, but then at the same time, you might go to physical therapy and your back is probably worse, or your movement becomes worse, or it aggravates it while in physical therapy. And then they're gonna be like, you know what? We're gonna leave your ass alone. We don't want to make you worse off. And that's what it is. It's like they're gonna give you all these other things, but at the same time, this is treatment that is still available for you through the VA. The VA is gonna provide you all the stuff that you didn't even realize you can get. Like I said, no, most people don't know you can get massage therapy. But massage therapy, I want a massage. I want a free. Who doesn't want a free massage? Like, what's wrong with you if you don't want a free massage? They cover it. Those are things that people don't know and don't know to ask, and haven't even thought to ask because they didn't even think it was actually a possibility. It was just like, yeah, you can get therapy for that. You can get that information. You can get chiropractic help. You can get massage therapy. You can get acupuncture. You can get aquatic therapy. You can get all that stuff, but you got to remember the resources have to be there for it. You have to have it there. It has to be available. You have to be able to find that stuff. The VA has to be able to provide you that stuff, and that's where people need to realize, if you can't be provided the stuff, you can't get it in your area. That's not the VA's fault. The VA is not finding every single thing that you have an issue with and making sure, oh shit, we got to make sure, well, Crew's got fucking back issues, I need to make sure I make a pool for one guy. No, it doesn't work like that. I was like, they're gonna try to find people around you to do it, but at the same time, hey, if you don't have the resource for it, you can't get mad at the VA for not having the resources for it, because your town or your community doesn't have something that services the same thing or falls under the same thing. Like in my case, My chiropractor could do massage therapy, but she's not on the contract for massage therapy, so I can't use her for massage therapy. So you see how crazy that sounds? The massage therapist they have is 2 hours away from me. I can't get there. I was like, I'm gonna feel good for like that time I'm being massaged, and then I'm gonna feel my like shit driving back. So not fuck that. So like things like that, people don't realize, and that happens a lot with the issues. So veteran with spouse. Veteran with spouse. One parent. And child. But those are the instances that are just like, yeah, we need a this little raise isn't much, but it was just like there's other benefits that you can take advantage of. These are not the only benefits that are around. That's what people need to realize. Like all these benefits that are there, they're available. They're available for you to use. It's just you need to ask for them and you need to find them. Not all of them are like straight out in the open. Not all of these are you just gonna be like, oh, okay, this is where I went to. No, a lot of this stuff you have to ask, and you need to ask the correct people. You need to ask the correct office. You need to talk to your provider, and your provider can assist you with some of those changes. Is it always going to be that way? No. Is it they're going to find everything? No. Are you going to have access to everything? No. But if you are working towards it, it's going to help you in the long run. I need to do something to differentiate these. So, what do I have? See if I differentiate it that way. So that way it looks kind of highlighted, so it's separated but not too separated. You can see each one. I guess you can line up the amounts also. Then veteran with spouse, one parent and child. I have to change this one first. But yeah, that's what these are the numbers we're looking at. 100% ones are right up here. And that's what we're looking at right now. And we're just updating the video and creating the video as we go. And that's it. This video will probably be out within the week. I will have this video out once the SMC numbers are stabilized and basically done, because it is 2.5. I'm gonna just wait for those numbers to be there. I'm gonna push that out. Same thing with active duty, all that. We're gonna make these videos and we're gonna try to make it. I don't know if music wise what I'm gonna pick. I need to find something that'll work for people. So I don't have people complaining that the music sucks. And we'll just make it. You'll view it. Appreciate everybody that's here. Make sure y'all subscribing. Make sure y'all like the live. That way this information keeps getting pushed out to people. And YouTube sees that it is a good informational video and you're learning from it. So we might have to call it a bit soon though, because my medication is starting to wear out, it seems. So we'll see how much longer we go on this. But like I said, this is what we do. We do these every Sunday. Today was just a pop-up one, and I think I might start trying to do these more on Thursday nights. Just to pop up and do videos. So do maybe 2 a week. Basically, one on Sundays at noon. I know that one causes problems because I know people go to church or they get prepping for football and stuff like that. So I know most people don't always attend those on Sundays, but I do it. It's every Sunday at 12 noon. That is one that I am consistently doing. I've been doing it. I think this whole year I've only missed 2 weeks. One of them was because I was traveling, and the other one was because of a migraine. Besides that, I haven't missed a week. I do my shorts, which I missed this week because I'm working on the BTSSS service shorts, so that implementing some changes because YouTube is making some changes. So I'm gonna try to take advantage of that, and then also make sure to make a tutorial video with it. So that's what I think I'm gonna try to push for this upcoming year. That is that I will push out shorts giving you the small snippets of whatever topic it is, whether it's VA claims or VA loans or the GI Bill, ChampVA. Make those shorts and then connect those shorts that the related video on the short goes to the actual tutorial video, or it goes to a different short that gives a bit more information. So that way it's like tying you guys into the information. So it's like you get that information. George, I appreciate you for the support as always. Um, and that's the plan. That's the outlook for this upcoming year. So most videos will not be coming out. A lot of videos won't be coming out. A lot of it will be these numbers basically for just like the informational numbers. So basically your disability pay, your SMC pay, your military pay, your any other specialized pays that we may receive. Those will be the videos that will mostly come out for the rest of this year. And then the lives. The lives will be every Sunday, and then probably Thursday nights or Wednesday night, depending when I pop up. I'll just do those randomly. But the one that's always solid is Sunday, 12 noon Central Time. That one is always there. I do that one without fail. Everything else will be like a pop up throughout the week, and then the videos and stuff like that. I'll make sure that I got another basically 2 months to try to create a bunch of videos in line so that then next year I have all that solidified and I have a schedule already broken down. I got videos already made so that way when I do and I create something or something pops up, I can create a new video and not worry about, oh shit, I got to make this video this week. I need to make this video this week. So that's why I'm going to try to make it so that I can create it, because the past couple of years I've been in school. I'm doing my master's degree. I graduate next May. This coming May, I graduate with my master's degree in public administration. So that has taken up time. Still got a family, still got stuff to deal with, still deal with migraines, still deal with all the vet shit I got to deal with. Then I'm still trying to assist and talk and do the best I can. So, as the year progresses, that's what I'm gonna try to do. Keep that. Still have the podcast. Like shit, the podcast. I haven't made a new episode. I recorded a new episode like maybe like 2 weeks ago. Haven't even had the time to actually edit it. So we'll try to make as much videos and stuff like that. So that start January 1st, we have a lineup of stuff that will be beneficial to all members. Whether you're a member of the channel or not a member of the channel, you just subscribe to the channel, they'll do that. Hey, George, I appreciate you and thank you. Um, and that's what I'm pushing for. Looking into the VA accreditation to become a claims agent also, but I don't know. That process looks like it's. I've been saying I was going to do that, and it's hard. Hey, Airborne, my man, appreciate you. I was just like I'm trying. I'm working on it. But like I said, this is stuff that is just like to assist y'all, work to assist y'all. It helps me. It keeps my mind in a better place. So talking to vets and stuff like that keeps me on a better mental note, I'll say. So that's something that I want to continue doing because it does help me. But it's a process. I know all these other channels have like thousands and thousands and thousands of subscribers. It was like hopefully one day we can get there. I know I'm slacking because I haven't been making a shitload of videos like they do. These people post a video every like 2 days or every day they're posting a video. I ain't got the time for that yet. Maybe once this master's degree is done, we'll have plenty of time to be able to sit and do these lives like on a daily. Well, I wouldn't say daily, but I'll be able to create more content and more informational stuff and do easy, easy, easy laid out tutorials that will show everyone what needs to happen, what they need to do without trying to circumvent the system. I'm not going to try to, I'm not going to teach y'all this is the way to do it to get there. It's like, this is the information you need. You do with it what you want to do. I'm not going to be one of those that's just like, oh, yeah, I hope you get to 100% because this is what you could do. I already know. I know a bunch of the schemes and the gimmicks that people can do and people use to get to 100%. I'm not doing that. I'm doing it the surefire way where, with your documentation, your information, your diagnosis, your letters, you will get to 100% P&T because of the stuff you are able to provide that you don't have to come up with or make up with, and you don't have to pay anybody for. I was just like, here, if people want to support me like Carmen did with a super chat, I appreciate that. But here, you're not gonna have to go and hire a lawyer and pay thousands of dollars or pay thousands in back pay or have a contract to sign. You ain't gonna do that here. Here, you're gonna come, you're gonna learn, you find the information. I'll give you the tutorials. I'll tell you where you have to go, what you have to look at, what you have to read, and it's going to be through regulations and the VA. It's not going to be information that's word of mouth. No, I'd show you. That's why I like doing this. And I like doing it in split screen because I can show myself and I can just highlight the document or whatever it is I'm looking at. I can show y'all and y'all can visualize it and y'all can see where I get it from. Because this right here is from military.com. So y'all can see where I got the site, where I'm getting the information from. Do I usually go to .com sites? No. This one just provides it because it did come out with the 2.5 raise, so it has it there. But every other time, you're going to see a .gov at the end of whatever link or site that I showed you. The same way with private cruise. See if it pops up. I got to check because my thing is working. Private cruise. There we go. Provide chat with code of federal regulations. Code of, or is it code of regulations? Which one was it? I forget. I forget what the damn code is. Provide chat code of regulations. See? And then I got my little assistant to help out with it. So once I get that assistant working up and running, I'm gonna just be able to tell him to tell y'all, give y'all the information, y'all be able to run with it like that. I was just like, that's something nobody else got. Ain't nobody else got that. Nobody else got an assistant. No, nobody else got their own version of a thing. So keep that in mind every time y'all tune in. I'm gonna keep on working on that. If y'all see anybody else doing that, let me know. So I'm gonna come after that. But yeah, that's just stuff like I said, that'll be built up and that'll be worked on so that people take advantage of it because I can provide different links. I have different commands for certain things to provide certain stuff. So, oh my man, Airborne with the super chat. Appreciate you, Airborne. Appreciate you, my man. But that's something there because it's just like it's stuff that I have there, and I was just like, look, I have a couple of things. I just don't know if it's working properly. If it is, it works great. Till then, I still need to figure all that stuff out. But I was just like, those are the little things like private cruise, private cruise. I think. Let me see what it is. Introduce yourself. Did it do it? I don't think it's connected because it's supposed to talk. I don't know if y'all heard him talking now, but he's supposed to talk when he says that. He's supposed to come on and then talk. Let me see. Yeah, I have I have certain things that I've done. I have to continue it. The thing is that sometimes I need to make sure that it reads it because it's very sometimes it gets very specific with how I say things. So if I don't say it like properly and it doesn't understand me right, it won't do the command. So that's the one thing that I'm trying to work on to get better with. It didn't even have my input device on there. So that's the one thing, so that way it understands it. But you're supposed to be able to hear it because he has little speeches and stuff like that that I'm putting in there to assist so that people could just be like, oh, okay. Because sometimes it understands what I'm saying. Other times it goes off of like the percentage that it hears it correctly. So it's not a perfect thing, but it's something that I think it's a little gimmick that will assist me when it comes to assisting y'all. So it's just like, hey, if somebody has a specific question or a specific thing that I know I've already created, I just be like, hey, private cruise. And then it's just like this or that. It was just like provide chat this. Or which one do I have? Private cruise. Private cruise. Private cruise. Provide chat, combine the ratings table. See? And then it just provides the stuff for y'all. And then it's just basically something that's imprinted out. It's there. Oh, the only thing is oh, I just noticed something. So it's sending it. Interesting. Okay. I just realized it didn't send it to the chat. Uh-huh. See, that's something I need to work on. Because right now, those messages are supposed to be sent to you guys also. It's supposed to be sent to. So this is what should be coming out. So that's what y'all should be seeing. Every time I ask him to do something, it's supposed to show. So the same way he pops out, he's supposed to pop out. But then when I ask him to provide something, he's supposed to put it into the chat like it just did. But for some reason, it's not doing that. So that's something I have to see. Do I have my bot account? Oh. Why is it not sending it then? But that's something that's just like we'll work on. Because it's supposed to send it that way, but then all those messages. So private cruise. Private cruise. Yeah, I need to work on it. I need to work on that. I'll test it out in other streams, but I'll work on it because it's basically anytime I ask it, it should pop out. He pops out. He says something. He like Roger Sergeant, moving Sergeant, or moving whatever the case may be, and then it's just like when I ask him to provide something, it'll be like too easy. Got you, Sergeant, and then he just dips out like he did. So that's something I need to work on to make sure that it's there. Ah, I see where the issue is. So I have to redo a bunch of the stuff because I've noticed that the issue I have right now is that I got myself a hard drive and I moved a lot of stuff around because I'm trying to consolidate and put everything so that it's organized. And I guess me moving the files around, the files that it's pulling to actually acknowledge it and say the stuff, it can't find them. So I have to replace them in order to make it work. So that'll be something I'll probably work on over the weekend, but we have that's available. But Airborne, appreciate you. Carmen, appreciate you. I appreciate the super chats and the fan funding. I appreciate that as always. Appreciate y'all. That's all I can say. But we'll try to keep on assisting veterans as we can. Every Sunday we do this. Today was just an impromptu one because the rates is out. 2.5 rates is out. Information is there. Have it on the screen. I'm working on the video that I'm gonna be pushing out, and we'll do that way. Like I said, if you have any questions, as always, just don't hesitate to ask. Ask what you gotta ask. No matter what the question is, it's not a dumb question. It's not irrelevant question. Anything you have to ask, it is important for you to ask so that way you gain knowledge from it. And at the same time, if anybody else is watching, they can learn from it also. Any of those information or these tutorials is basically to educate veterans in the proper way with the regulation and the statements that are required to actually make sure that they are in the right position to better themselves, their future, and their family's future. Because that's what people need to realize. When it comes to disability ratings and the benefits, there's benefits that benefit you as the service member who served, and also your family, because they also sacrificed and are also part of this. When your family deals with issues of PTSD, your depression, your anxiety, your migraines, your back issues, all that stuff, that's something that you need to realize, and that's important that you need to know that it's just like, this is something that's going to happen. This is something you need to realize, and this is something you need to take care of. So that's something you need to realize with that, really. That's all that is. You got to make sure you know what you're going through, you know what you're talking about, and you go through all the information the correct way. As long as you're going through the information the correct way and you're dealing with the stuff in the correct way, you come out better, your family comes out better, and your time to deal with ratings and your claims goes a lot shorter. If you're sending in a fully developed claim, it's going to take a shorter time to receive an answer. If you are making it that they have to figure out what it is you're dealing with, that takes time. It takes a longer time process. But if you're submitting a fully developed claim that has your imagery, your buddy statements, your witness statements, all those statements and everything is there, plain as day, imagery, diagnosis, nexus letter, all that stuff is there, and you submit that, your claim is going to be processed a lot easier and a lot faster, because it's like, okay, they got all the shit they need. When you don't have it, that's when it's like, okay, we need to send you to the doctor. We need to send you to get an x-ray. We need to send you to do that. That delays the process. Remember, intent to file is a year long. You have a year before it expires. You can file an intent to file now. You can file it tomorrow. That gives you till October 11th of 2025 to fully submit everything, documentation, appointments, and all that. Appointments may take time. They may take a couple of months, but you can still file an intent to file claim today, and it stays there for a year, and you can use that for a whole year. That throughout that whole year, you can be getting evidence to support your disability claims. But you filed a year in advance, and that's what you need to realize. You filed a year in advance. That intent to file claim, that intent to file is in the system for a whole year. You can submit everything on October 10th of 2025. If everything goes through and you get that, your back pay or your pay will start on the effective date of the intent to file. So basically, if it takes longer and it takes you another 6 months, you're going to get basically back paid 18 months worth of back pay, if you look at it that way. So that's something to also look at it. File everything, anything you can think of, no matter how small, how small you think it is, file for it. Get it service connected, because a lot of things is like, the more you can get service connected, then it's easier to start putting secondaries after that. If you need secondaries, because for some people, you are going to get 100% without having to file those secondary claims, because you have everything with your primary claims. But the more you can get under the service connected, the more you can start tying to it, because there's a lot of shit that connects to it. Tinnitus has a lot of stuff. Sleep apnea has a lot of stuff. PTSD has a lot of stuff. Muscle injuries, those contribute to other injuries. Those continue to cause different and secondary events, secondary causes to different things. That's how you tie it up. But if you don't file for the stuff, you ain't gonna get nowhere. You have to make sure you have the proper documentation for it. You have to make sure you have everything correctly written, correctly proven, correctly. Like I said, you want it to be that you can hand your paperwork to anybody and they will be able to tell you what it is you filing a disability for without a doubt. If you can hand it to a random person and that random person looks at it and then they just be like, I don't know what the hell is wrong with you, then you need to fix your shit. That's the easiest way. That is the easiest way for me to tell somebody. If you are filing your disability claim and you hand it to another veteran and that other veteran can't tell you what the hell is wrong with you off of the stuff that you thought you was claiming was all good, fix your shit. It's as simple as, like I said, if you're going through your medical records, separate everything from that instance. If you have an ankle injury, back injury, separate everything out. Make sure that everything is separate. Make sure that if it's an ankle injury, all your ankle injury documentation is notated and in a separate PDF so that when you put ankle injury, you submit that claim and that piece of evidence as ankle injury documentation. You can upload it just like that. So when that VA rater goes to look at it, they can literally just click on it and it shows everything that has ankle injury on there. And it's basically highlighted. You can highlight certain things, you can highlight dates and put that stuff. So you make it easier for the VA rater to see where the issue is. But then remember, the VA might get it wrong also. You can't just expect them to be perfectly correct. You might have a CMP examiner that assists you and puts even more claims. They might not. They might just do the bare minimum, which is basically what you claimed. They don't have to file the extra stuff. That's them doing it because they decided to. There's nothing that says they have to file these extra claims for you. It is on you. Go through your medical records, find everything and anything that you got seen for. It could be the smallest thing, like I said. If you don't go through your medical records page by page, line by line, you are going to miss information that could have been a claim or could have been an instance of, oh shit, I forgot this happened to me. The amount of times from the people I've spoken to, like, hey, look at your medical records and stuff like that. It's just like, yo, bro, you know how much shit I realized that I actually got seen for that I didn't even cross my mind. And I was just like, those little instances go a long way. Those little instances is something that can be service connected because it happened during your time in service. Now it's gotten worse. If your service record already shows you had it, it's easy to prove. And then you got to remember there's presumptive issues and then there's issues that are just basically like, hey, with the PACT Act, they know certain issues are going to be prevalent because of your time in serving in whatever area you served in. You don't have to worry about much documentation. Sometimes they're still going to disapprove it. But then it's just like appeal. Don't hesitate to appeal. If you know you are dealing with the issue, your issue was done incorrectly, appeal the situation. Don't just refile because then you just start in the time all over again. You appeal, you still get the intent to file date for that appeal whenever it happens. And those appeals take time. Just like sometimes you get lucky and the shit takes over quickly. Most of the time it's going to take 6 to 7 or longer. It's going to take months to get that done. But if you do the proper stuff, like I said, have everything documented, everything put together, everything solidified to show, hey, I'm claiming an ankle injury. These are all the documentation I have for ankle injury. I got a back injury. This is all the x-rays. This is the physical therapy sessions. This is the information. This is the MRI. That's the x-ray. Boom. That is the back injury. For migraines, here, this is the medication I take. This is the medication I've been subscribed. These are the shots I've taken for migraines. These are the times I've been hospitalized for migraines. Put that shit together, file it, migraine documentation. Do that for every single one of those claims because then it's easier for a person to view that and find the information that's needed. A lot of people just think it's just like, oh, I got this documentation. It's in my medical records. Bro, if you didn't like, this is what I tell people. If you yourself as the veteran chose not to go through those 1,000 pages of medical records, why would you think a damn VA rater is going to do that? It's not their job to go through every single page. They're not going to go through every single page. I had almost 1,000 pages of medical records, and that's because of the physical therapy and all the shit that I went through. I don't expect that person to read all that shit. They got to service how many veterans in a certain amount of time throughout the month? Like, that's what people don't realize. These people got to do a lot of shit. I was just like, how many veterans filed? Over 2 million veterans have filed for the PACT Act in the past 2 years. And that you can pull up on the VA dashboard thing, which I can pull that right back up. Where is it at? You can go here, Department of Affairs and PACT Act data, and it has it. It has the issues. You can download it or got the interactive one. And through the interactive stuff, it'll show you everything there, and it'll show you how many people filed. And you got to remember, all these people started filing expanding benefits. That's the amount of people filing. So all these people have filed. Then they got to go through it. They got to check their records. They got to verify the stuff. Because then the thing is if you are doing it in a PACT Act and you served in a certain area, now they have to go and check to see where you served at. Shit, I submit my DD-214 and just highlight the damn deployment. That shit is plain as day. They don't got to look too hard. And a lot of people got to realize, if you look up at a PDF, and a PDF is a picture, pictures don't show up. You can't control F a picture. And that's what these CMP examiners and these VA raters do. They control F to find and highlight the word that they're looking for. If it is cervical back, they're going to type in cervical and they're going to populate everything that shows cervical. But if you went ahead and got everything that had that back issue into one document, it's already there for them. They don't have to control F because now they can just look through that document. But if you give them the whole medical record and you do that, they're just going to control F. And if you had that imagery or that picture of your dislocated back or whatever the shit is, that shit is not going to pull up on PDF because they can't search a picture. The words ain't going to show up because it's going to be a picture. The same way you can't edit those items. Or when you try to do it on a PDF, you can't do that. It's not going to show up. So you have to make sure you are highlighting that and separating that, because that is how you get that information. But like I said, those are all little tidbits that people need to realize and need to understand, that those will benefit you as a service member and a veteran, whether it's active duty going to become a veteran or you've been a veteran for some time now and you're filing. All those things need to be put in place, and you need to make sure you have them on file and correct in order to make sure you are good to go. Like I said, you are the one fighting for these claims. You are the one fighting for this compensation. Should you be fighting this hard? Fuck no. None of us should be fighting this damn hard to fucking get what we earned. But you got those rotten apples. You got those apples that have been committing fraud and stuff like that. So those same people that be committing fraud are the ones that make it tougher on every other service member. It's like that mass punishment treatment. I was just like, well, this dude committing fraud, I got to double check everybody's shit now. Could be legit, could be not. The VA don't know. So the VA has to verify. And when you can make it so verifiable that they ain't got to ask you questions, you're going to go to that CMP examiner and they're going to tell you, hey, bro, how does it affect you? And when they start asking you that question, it's just like, all right, this person sees all the shit I got. That's what you got to realize. You go to a CMP exam and they start asking you directly, it's like, how does it affect you? It's because they saw the record and they saw what it was that was wrong. So whatever you claim, your documentation was good as shit, that it is like, I just need to know how it affects you. And then the gynometer, like Dash likes to tell me, the to see how much you bend. And then they'll ask you that, and then they move on to the next topic. They only ask you a shitload of questions on shit that they're not too certain of what it is. Because, like I said, for me, migraines, they asked. I told them. They saw that I had the medication. I said I took it over the counter. And then they just asked me, like, so how often do you get them? How bad? Told them. And then, okay, next thing. So it's a simple process to deal with. It's simple things to get. It's just you have to make sure and ensure that you yourself are looking at that. You have to make sure you are accepting of that, and that's the thing. You have to make sure that you without a doubt are not wrong. You without a doubt are not missing any information. You without a doubt will show somebody and can prove to anybody that you are dealing with this issue without having to go through the whole craziness. That's where you have to solidify the stuff, and that's where you got to make sure you are correcting that stuff. Because otherwise, I don't know if you did this in service. That's the VA's way. Look, I don't know if you did this in service. You say you did. I I have no way of proving that. So, but all right, y'all. It is 11:45. I'm streaming a lot longer than I thought I was going to. But as always, I appreciate everybody that tuned in. Airborne, thank you for the $10. Carmen, thank you for the $4. I appreciate y'all for the fan funding. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all having a conversation and giving insightful information to other veterans. As always, we will continue to do this. Our main one is always Sunday, 12 noon Central Time here, VA Disability Workshop. We either cover certain topics or we answer questions for veterans and help them and assist them in getting better results and getting them to where they need to. Videos will be coming out for the VA rates. All that other stuff is going to come out. Like I said, we're going to be working on the next 2 months is to make sure that we start 2025 strong with veteran benefits, veteran assistance, veteran digital products, having my little private cruise, populate and actually give information and stuff like that, and just have all that stuff within there to assist and deliver the benefits, entitlements, exemptions, everything to veterans. So I want to say thank you again. As always, be good to one another, take care of one another, love one another. I always forget the fourth one now. I'm having memory issues. Be good, take care, love one another, and be good, take care, love, and damn, I'm gonna have to write this shit down. I feel that. Airborne. Yeah, I'm gonna be doing airborne. I'm gonna be doing pop-ups when I have the time and the stuff. I finished my paper early today, so that's why I did it earlier today. That's the only reason I pop up. But Sundays I do it. I'll be doing pop-ups. It'll probably be around this time, like around 8ish Central Time, and go to like 12, so maybe like 3 hours or something like that. Because I know people still got work and stuff, so I don't expect too many people to tune in. But I'll keep doing these pop-ups like this, and then the videos they'll pop up when they pop up. But appreciate y'all and stay marvelous while doing all those things for everybody. Love y'all. Veterans, take care. Look out for one another. Be good to one another. Just spread the information. Doesn't have to be through me. If you go through another channel, make sure you're providing them that insight. And hey, help veterans out. That's all I ask. Thank you. I will see you on the next one. You have a good rest of your evening. Enjoy the weekend till I see you on Sunday. Peace.